Our opinions here.
Feel free to have whatever opinion that floats your boat.
We don't agree on anything.
Give me back the pants.
When you say Scott Peterson guilty, then I will.
If there's a dog that's loose, I am the person who's going to go get the dog.
Oh God.
And it's about the fact. See, told you I can't even do it when she's on here. I can't even do it when she's
nope.
No, because I can't even get the question. She's like, oh.
I'm sure this is gonna feel awkward now, but I don't care. Let's do it. Let's go.
This is actually a good one. This is a good discussion because this does. I mean, how do you guys feel in chat?
We all came together for true crime, and let's focus on helping anybody that we possibly can in any of these cases, or at least spreading awareness on them. Leave the drama behind.
And just thank you guys. I appreciate it more than any of you know. I've had a long week. I know a bunch of hoes out here.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Christine, Michelle, hi, all of chat. Am I echoing, or is it just me?
Just you.
Really?
Sound fine.
Okay.
Just one. Hello, Jen Lou. Smalls.
Smalls, Northern Light, Queen Bee, and BR the Star. Your opening is so professional. You know, I've had a really long day, and so the girls said that we needed to laugh. So then the funny intro works because it does. It makes me laugh every time.
Because my head.
Also, she told me about 14 seconds before she hit go live that she needs a longer intro.
I want a longer intro. She's like, you know, we have like 14 seconds before we're going to go live. Hey, Dana, hi, Salty.
Oh.
Oh, goodness.
I love Jen.
All right, are you guys ready for this weekend? I'm ready for the weekend.
Yeah. We need
KB!
Guys. And Teresa's very accomplished today.
Oh God, but I'm exhausted. I accomplished stuff, but now I'm ready to go to bed.
I'm accomplished but exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, so I think most people who know me know that I decided in my 40s to go back to school for some crazy freaking reason to get my degree in criminology, and so
I love that.
So 3 kids, 3 dogs, a husband, family, and then true crime. School just like really just gets in the way. But I have 2 weeks left of this semester, so I had a final paper due today. That, of course, if anybody knows, I procrastinated and started on yesterday, Wednesday. What is today's Friday? I maybe started a little bit Wednesday night, just kind of putting some thoughts and stuff together. But really, I started it yesterday. So it was due at 6 o'clock tonight, right in time for us to go live. So I literally turned it in at like 5:49. Logged into here, went to the bathroom, grabbed my sweatshirt, and this is what I've done all day besides pick up children from school. But it's done. That one's done. I have another one due next week that is another 15 pages of hell, and then that one's done. And then I have 3 finals the following week. Well, one class doesn't have a final because it has a 15-page paper, so that's nice of them. And then I have summer classes, and I decided to take 4 of them.
Wow.
4 for the summer?
I did 4 summer classes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Gonna be a busy lady, huh?
I did. So in the summer, they're kind of split up a little bit. So it's like I have 2 that are the whole summer. So 2 that are whole summer. And then I have 1 that's the beginning of summer and 1 that's the end of summer. So they'll go back to back. So it's technically 3 at a time.
Ooh.
Jenn Lou says that's like 87% more than she's done today. All I can say is thank gosh that there's no Johnny Depp trial on Fridays, because I wouldn't have, Maria, hi. I would not have been able to accomplish nearly what I did.
Our new focus in life, are you kidding? Oof.
You know what? I actually got so much done today too because the trial was not on today.
Right? I was like, all right, Friday it is. Let's do it. We're going to get all this stuff. Northern Lights, you're going to have fun with that. Yeah, I'm going to have fun with that.
I just woke up.
Well, I wanted to pile so my original plan was that I was supposed to be graduating with my bachelor's in criminology. It'll be a minor in forensics, and I was supposed to graduate spring of 2023. So I really tried to shuffle some stuff around so that I actually graduate fall of 2022, which is why I have everything so packed in this year, because there's a graduate program that I want to go to, but it only starts in January. So if I don't graduate until spring, I have to wait and apply for the 2024 graduate program. But if I can graduate this year, I can apply for it for 2023.
Nice.
So do you guys know who Cece Moore is? Are you familiar with her? Cece Moore, she's the one who does all the forensic genetic genealogy. She's like the face of it. Mm-hmm. She's the one who helped catch
the Golden State Killer.
The Golden State Killer, yes.
Yes.
And then she has a team of people that work for her now, obviously, through a company that's in the Midwest, and they do forensic genetic genealogy. And if you guys know anything, I love genealogy. It's like one of my favorite hobbies. I have like 12,000 people in my family tree that I started myself, not using because my mother's always been into family trees, and she has about 112,000 in hers. So instead, I don't want to take hers. I want to do my own independently. So I started my own. Yeah, Eric Parabon. Yeah, Parabon. No D at the end. And so I also create family trees for a lot of the cases that we cover. Like I have a Watts family tree. I have a Delphi family tree. I have, I don't know. I like them. So
Are you related to anyone cool?
I do. I like Princess Diana is actually like one of my 15th cousins.
Wow.
I'm related to Richard Nixon.
Stop it. No.
Yeah, I have some pretty cool ones. Obviously, they're not like right here. I mean, the coolest person who's the closest related to me is it'd be my first cousin once removed is my dad's cousin who was Miss America of 1969.
That is so cool that you're able to like,
but I know her. I mean, I grew up with her. So I mean she's my cousin, but we always call her Aunt Judy. So I call her Aunt Judy, but then she's not my aunt. Oh, BR the Star says she's related to Richard Nixon.
Maybe you guys are related.
Do you need a DNA sample? I'll volunteer, but you can't put it in the database. I don't know if these sketchy relatives. So that's actually another thing I've done. I have a few friends of mine that were adopted, and I've actually found their birth parents and birth families. So a few times I actually found, I don't know if I should say this on a public live, but whatever. I found out that my dad had a kid before he met my mom.
Oh, well.
And that kid had a kid. So I had another niece out there. And then my niece had a kid. So I had a great nephew.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know. Well, man, there had been kind of some rumors and stuff. My dad was kind of a playboy. He was, a hot cop. And he kind of did what he did back in the day. So there had been rumors and stuff. But yeah, so I found her and my great nephew, my what would have been my half brother. Unfortunately, had passed away before I found out about him. So I never got to talk to him or meet him. But yes, I mean, I it's just something that I like to do. The graduate program is actually in forensic genetic genealogy. So it'll take the forensics and, basically everything that has to do with it. And then you get your graduate degree in that.
I'm on board with Jenn Lou. I actually have a pretty shocking claim to fame family member that I'm not speaking about.
You do. You do have a really cool one.
I'm not going to do a DNA test because of it also.
Like Jenn Lou's all, my dad was a paramedic in the 80s. Yeah.
So I'll tell you later behind the scenes.
I'm sitting here like
I like just any like projects
Theresa
like that.
agrees.
I want to know.
Yeah, Theresa can vouch.
I do. I love projects like that, and I would totally build you one, Christine. We are BR and I are dick cousins. If that tells you anything. We definitely are. I'd have to go back in my tree and actually tell you exactly what the relations are, because it's like 12 cousins, 5th removed or whatever silliness there is. And so during the graduate program, they actually give you a case. So they don't tell you if your case is made up or if your case is actually legit. And so during the graduate program, you have a case. So you have like certain classes and courses that you're taking, and then they give you a case to work. You don't know if it's real or fake. And then you work it to figure out whatever the solution is. That's your final project.
Oh gosh, they should give they should just give it all of them real ones, and if they don't solve it, you can't join the club.
I don't know. It's a fairly new thing. If you don't solve it, you can't join the club. Great, thanks.
Just don't graduate.
I think you have to. So I don't know. That's kind of my end game right now. We'll see. You have to apply for this graduate program, so I don't even know if I can get into it. And they'll probably be like, "You're how old? What are you trying to do with your life again?" No, she's on.
No. Mm-mm.
Let me see. The Other Star says, I'm related to Will, the Ness Carver, who is in Butch Cassidy's gang. He's my second great uncle. Now that's cool. Okay. I'd like to have some gangsters. I would. I'd like to have some. I don't have any cool ones. I don't have any cool ones like that. Like I'm like, oh yeah, my dad's cousin was Miss America. She can't do shit. Like, she could trampoline really well back in the day, but I don't know.
Diana, are you crazy? I would so take that.
Let's see. We are trying to find my great grandfather's family. He was born in Canada and came to the U.S. around the age of 15. That's all we know. I would be happy to help. After finals. But I think that I love finding things like that. There was somebody that was actually in one of the Facebook groups, and I won't say her name, but her, I believe it was her aunt had passed away, and they never could figure out anything about like the circumstances. So I went digging into some old files and found them and gave them to her. This was like 2 years ago. This is since I've been doing all this. Hi, Insanely Confused. I've never looked into my family history. Well, you should. I think it's really cool.
You have me very interested.
Seems like they've got other people doing their homework for them. I'd be like, eyes on your own paper.
I asked one time in like the group, I was like, what if you found out that you were related to somebody and it wasn't like, it was somebody like controversial, like would you say so, or would you never say so? And it was really interesting to read everybody's reactions because they were
most people probably said they would, right? That they would say something. A lot of
people said that they would not speak up if it was like a serial killer or something, and some people were like, well, yeah, because I'd have to write, I want to know the details.
Right?
I would want to know all about it.
I don't want to know details.
So I've done my DNA, obviously,
allegedly.
Like with the company, my husband, my family, because we all like the ancestry stuff. But so when I was going to do my husband's, my in-laws were like, don't put your DNA on those databases. You know what they can do, right? I'm like, well, what are they going to do? And they're like, they could find people who've like murdered people with your DNA. Like, they match up to you. They could be like your family. And I was like, if they've murdered people, don't you want them caught? I'm thinking like that is like a very weird reason. Like if one of my relatives is out there killing people, like, yeah, hell yeah, go get him.
Oh no.
But then my husband's like all, conspiracy, and he's like, they can like code your DNA and they can do this and they can do that. And I'm like, I'm not going to be alive for all of that shit. Like if my kids run into a young version of me in, 40 years, fuck it. I'm not here.
That'd be so cool.
That would be so cool. Anyway, but speaking of DNA, I did do my dog's DNA.
No, you did not.
I sure as heck did.
Already?
Where's Barb?
No,
Barb here. Barb. I just called her. Okay, good thing Barb's not in here. Don't tell her I just did that anyway. Everybody, that's our secret. All 30 of us.
Oh my gosh, here's the dog again.
Ursa, come here. Come here, baby. Not you, Zany. I know what you are. Let's see. Is your dog related to Lassie? No, but what I did figure out in this whole thing, and she won't come over here because she doesn't listen, is that you can build a family tree for your dogs. So it gives me like her closest relatives that have taken this test. And my husband's just like, oh God. Is my husband related to Richard Nixon's dog? Now that would be interesting to find out. Come here. Does she have husky with those eyes? Her number 1 is Siberian Husky. 18% Siberian Husky. Come here, baby. Come here, baby. You're so big now. It's so hard to lift you up. Come here. Oh, God. Ugh. She's not very tiny anymore. Not very tiny anymore. There you go. Yeah, so her number 1 is Siberian Husky. You'll never guess her number 2
She's
is.
so big, so fast.
I know, she's huge. She's huge. She her second is small poodle.
Small poodle.
It's small poodle. And then it's like pretty equal with like German Shepherd, Pit Bull, Boxer. They were all like 15%. So Dina,
She's just hugging you. Aww.
I know. She's like, what you want? What do you want? She's a giant baby, giant pain in the butt.
She is getting
Giant
big.
lover.
She is fast. Hey, baby.
Yeah, so she's got all kinds of funky stuff, but her number 1 was 18% Siberian Husky,
Wow.
and then like 16% small poodle. So
I don't even like, where did that come from? Where did you get poodle?
it's like poodle. What the heck? What the heck are you talking about?
Hey, babe. Oh, that eye. I can't. I love it. Oh, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, she is cute. She's a cutie pie, but she's getting very big, and the other dogs are little. You know, they're like, one's like 10 pounds, the other one's like 12. And she just like puts her paws on top of them, and they're just like done for. Like, I'm like, oh, hi Karen. I need the link, and it's making out with Ursa right now. I sent you the link. Do you not have it?
Jenn Lou.
Didn't I send it to you? Did I just send you the link for the live? Probably. That's something. Oh no, I did. I sent it to you. You have it, love. No, you didn't. It's right here.
That makes me nice. So right, Smalls. She's very vocal. Hey, Haley.
Yeah, Queen has a 200-pound Newfie that looks like a black bear. Literally.
Oh. I love big dogs. Love big dogs.
I also meant tease, but my phone is a jerk. All right, so that's enough on the DNA stuff, I think. I wanted Barb to be able to see Ursa, but she's late, so she missed out again.
Good Barb go.
She'll have to rewind.
Replay.
We needed a little cuteness because we got some not so fun topics to talk about with the first case we're going to talk about.
Yes.
So the first case is technically, it's still obviously an open investigation, but they do have somebody that they have arrested and is, in the process of all the judicial things. But we'll talk about that. The second case is actually still a missing child, which we're hoping we'll get some more information on. And Michelle was going to reach out to his grandmother and see if she would like to come on and talk to us and tell us, more in detail of what's going on. And then lastly, but definitely not leastly, whatever. We're going to talk about I put a splash of JD in there.
Mm-hmm. You're well funny.
We feel like this hasn't been getting enough coverage.
I know, but once again, I kind of, the lives end up, if you guys want to know where I spend my time in true crime, on Fridays, whatever we're talking about, that's really what I've done for the week. It truly is, because this is this is where I've been all week, is with these particular cases. I did try to get some updates on some of the trial stuff that we have, we are waiting for, and I found out that
you missed on your list on the Facebook group. Murdaugh is blowing my brain up right now.
Okay, so I had a hard time editing my list, so I had to make a new one, and I don't think I added it to the new one, so I will fix it.
They said, that was only a couple days ago that they came and said that the
blood spatter.
Gosh. I knew that was coming, but it's just like, boom.
That case gets me.
So that's a case that I feel is so intricate. And since I don't have all the information and all the little key components, that I don't feel like I can do it justice by talking about it yet, because I haven't, I got you. I got it. I feel like I would not be able to do it any justice because I just don't know enough of all the little things. That would be more of like, you guys would have to sit here and tell me about it.
Okay.
What fun is that? Not you.
Why? I know about this one. I'll be.
Yeah, I was going to ask
Okay,
you.
then we'll schedule it live and we'll just do Murdaugh and you can tell me all the things.
There's a lot going on in that.
Every single thing is
There's
in
so
it.
much
Every
going on. I
single
can't fit that into
possible-
a True Crime Friday night discussion. It just is too much. And if, once again, if you guys were with us on Monday, there was no helicopter flying over.
Oh,
Do it cheater style like me and cover the trial. Yeah. I like the trials though.
especially this one. This one's.
Did you not give her the right link again?
I did. She has it.
Okay.
She was doing a couple things, then she's gonna hop up. So we'll start with we'll start with Lilly and
Lilly?
or should we wait? You want to wait? I don't know. Whatever you want to do. I don't care.
We could do Lilly. Let's start off with Lilly. Works for me.
Should we wait so we don't have to like say? We can just sit here and. You want to tell us all the things Murdaugh right now, Christine? Just fill it
There
in.
you go,
Fill it
Christine.
in. Go ahead. Just do it now.
No,
Love
I'm
it.
on the spot. Okay, so first of all, the boat.
First of all, she
It was
said,
the boat. It turns out that was just scraping the iceberg. No, I have to make a PowerPoint.
That's funny
or
because
something.
Steph's not here either, but Steph sends me stuff on Murdaugh all the time, and like I'm supposed to know what's happening in it. Like, and I'm like,
literally,
what is
there
this?
is
What does this mean?
he's on that one.
every single possible twist a case could take has been taped, and I don't know what else can get any more about this case. Like, it's so much.
It has everything. It does.
It
That's
has
why I'm like, I
literally
can't do it justice in
everything.
covering it on just a Friday discussion. It needs a good deep
I
dive.
totally agree.
Hi, Allie79.
It would be a great deep dive, though, because that's one of those cases where,
Right.
you know, be worth it.
So I've been trying to put together some other timelines of other cases to do some pre-recorded stuff that Christine can make magic with. So that went away today though, because I was doing a paper on life in prison without parole.
Oh,
That's what the topic was of this paper.
I've just been dealing with this all day, huh?
Well, it's all crime. So
Okay.
that is the one positive is I don't have any of the like the crap courses that you have to take.
Okay.
You know, that's all done. So now it's just all crime, which is almost a hindrance because then you get confused on which classes are which crimes and what you're covering and which ones. And it was almost easier when you had like 2 crime classes, English and math, because you really can't mess those up.
No.
There's look at that. It's like she heard Murdaugh. Did you message her or something? Somebody messaged her and was like, they're talking about Murdaugh. You better get in there.
Get in there.
Yeah. Steph and Christine are the Murdaugh peeps.
I mean, I can't even with that. Like, I'd have to make a whole new dedicated podcast website for like I would.
We can
would
do
have
like a
to,
whole little
have an
series on
offshoot.
Murdaugh. I just want to know more about it.
But so speaking of like other cases, I want to tell everybody in our chat right now that, or listening or watching wherever you're at right now, if you have not read the last 30 pages of that leaked interview with Keegan Kline from the Delphi case, it's 190 pages. The first 160 pages are wearing him down. The last 30 pages are everything. And if you're like me, I gave up like about page 150 on my first read through because it's a really hard read. It talks about a lot of very sensitive stuff. And let me just save you the grief. Skip to page 160 and go. And just muscle through it till it starts making sense, and it absolutely will, and your brain will explode. I promise. Let us know. Let us know when you've done it.
That was actually supposed to be like she like gave me a homework assignment, I think like on Wednesday, and I have not done it.
Oh,
she doesn't actually give me a grade like the professors do, so I had to prioritize.
Yes, I do. Yes, I
you
do.
try to, but it really doesn't go on my transcripts or anything. So I'm good. And then you still love me even if I don't do it. So I'm okay.
I'm gonna make sure Anthony gets that.
My ATS news. Where can they find it? Can you link it for them? And then Karen, yes, and I was gonna say this when we were talking about it earlier. I cannot stop myself for whatever reason from calling him Murdaugh, and it's Murdoch.
Oh, I call him Murdaugh too.
No,
Murdaugh?
it's not. I learned this back when it was all unfolding, and everybody always criticizes the way I say it because I want to call him Murdaugh because his name is spelled Murdaugh.
Yeah.
No, it's because he's a murderer in South Carolina.
Because he's a murderer. Murder. But it's like Murdoch. So it's got like an "ak" on the end of it versus like an "ah." But I know it's Murdoch. I got you, Missy. I know. That's why I said I need to fix it because otherwise everybody in the freaking comment section is going to be like, you know that it's pronounced Murdoch and not Murdoch. And I'm like, yes, I know. I just say it wrong, even though I know what it is because I want it to be the way it's spelled.
I'm pretty sure that the document for Keegan Klein is in. I've put that in our group. If you're not on Facebook, then I shared it to the mods the other day. Maybe one of them can like put in a comment or something.
Oh yeah.
The link, it's a Google Drive link. It's worth it.
No, I want to read it now. You need to read that. We need to make sure Ansley gets that too. And Missy, where's she at? Delphi is one of those. I agree, Karen. I agree.
Murdoch. I'll have to like get used to that. But yeah, that case is like a whole an entire channel by itself. Like that's
Really is. I tried. I did try, and I couldn't do it.
You know, I got into it. There was like a podcast kind of style on YouTube. It was a girl, and she was doing like a series, and that was like my intro to it, and it was really good. It was like in a sequential like order, and it was easy to follow from the beginning. And then since that happened, so much has continued to go on. There's like as many episodes as that was. I think she had like 2 or 3. There's definitely enough for another 2 or 3 episodes now.
I love podcasts. I did the Julia Davis. Oh, so good. Murder Mark 101 or something. 181. Oh, so good. So good.
I'm not a big podcaster yet, but I plan to be.
I love podcasts. You can just kind of zone out and just do your thing. It's the way, I don't know. I love podcasts.
Where did Theresa go?
Nice. Actually, check CriminaliTy's podcast as well.
Yeah, we stream these lives into the podcasts. So that there's Jenn. The what was I thinking of? The girl. I'm sorry, what's her name? The
Which
girl
one?
for today, the 10-year-old.
Oh, Lilly?
Totally blinking. Lilly, yes. Lilly so much is reminding me of the other little girl here. I'm gonna space on her name too. In Florida with the kid, the 14-year-old. What's wrong with me right now?
Kid. Christine. Am I losing kids now?
No, the cheerleader. The little cheerleader, she was like 13 or 14 in Florida, and then the
Tristan
boy,
Bailey.
Thank you.
Welcome. I'll be right back.
What did she say? Kristen Bailey?
Tristan Bailey
Tristan.
is the girl.
Oh, Tristan. Oh.
Hi, guys.
And hello, Jen Lou.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm not nearly as productive as Theresa, apparently, but that's all right. I'm not going to let that dim my shine.
I took a great
We
nap
need some Jen
Lou. I've been making some clip videos. That takes a while. That's productive.
Oh my gosh. I keep myself up at night thinking of all my hilarious ideas, especially right now with Amber. I just like have like all the like funny like parody videos I want to make, but too many naps to take, so little time.
Well, this is how I've learned. I've spaced out my day. I work on it in the morning because it is tedious to get those clips. And then my nap time is from like 2 to 3:30. And then I do a little more work. I make dinner. And then I go, if I'm going to go live, I go live at 9. So I got time.
There you go.
Did you guys see last night that car chase that was going on like in Los Angeles? The guy was like doing donuts. They was streaming on a bunch of channels last night. The guy was like doing like donuts, just like egging the police on. He totally could have gotten away like 47 times, and then he'd go and do donuts again, and the helicopter would be watching him and stuff. It was like, what is happening right now? And then I realized that must be the doorman. In his testimony.
He was
It
funny.
literally looked like that, like aggressively donutting and vaping.
The guy should not be donutting out there.
Yeah, he was
funny.
giving his testimony. I get it. He was busy.
He was not like just his testimony was like, some of the stuff he said was funny. And I have to say, I think it's funny when Johnny Depp laughs at stuff that is funny. Like he's not like stuffy and like snooty about it. You know what I mean? Like Amber is trying to hold in contempt and in every form of the word, you know, because lying on the stand, perjury, you know, being an ass, getting your girlfriend reporter to tweet you and send you crapter and tweet live and send you notes. That's yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got the
can't
few
wait.
personalities.
Do what, Michelle?
I can't
few
wait
of her
for the
personalities.
train wreck.
Oh, few of them.
Like
What'd you
she's
say?
taking the stand next week, right?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I can't like, okay, I heard some people discussing about like her attorneys like should have already told her to settle, and that like the validity of their like bar, you know, licenses are like being called into question, because like, are they telling their client this is like, yes, we can do this? Like, you know, like a good attorney would advise her to settle already. So
Well, I mean, here's the thing about that. Like, yeah, I would have advised if she wouldn't be my client. I'd be like, listen, girl, I know I swore an oath and everything, but you a lie. And I can work with any friggin' loophole there is, but not you. So take your money and go down the road. But I feel like they probably did. But here's the thing about her settling. See, a settlement on her part would be an admission in a lot of ways of guilt, right? Like she lied, and that's why she settled. And she has a lot to lose. She has people are already calling for a ban, or not a ban, but a boycott of Aquaman 2.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you know, the ACLU. I mean, this is for her to lose. See, Johnny Depp has nothing to lose, and that's why he's laughing, because the accusation those are already out there, and they've been out there for years, right? So he has nothing to lose. That's why he didn't give a rat's fat kneecap about these tapes, these audio recordings. He didn't care. He's like, yeah, look, I got drunk.
He wants the world to know. He's like, listen, you did all this to me. Now here, it's out there. Let's
Exactly.
do it.
Look, I might have been drunk, and I might have been on the nod on some roxycodone, okay? But I didn't make up domestic violence abuse charges, so I don't give a rat's fat kneecap what you show. Show it all. I don't care. I'll even admit them. Hey, maybe my bodyguard didn't see my pee-pee, right? Maybe I was thinking about taking a pee in the hallway or wherever that was. Okay, but at the end of the day, what's worse? I peed in the hallway, or I lied about domestic violence?
Yeah.
Pee can be cleaned up.
Exactly.
It'll be fine.
I agree. Totally.
And I'm sure her attorneys probably said this is not going to be an easy case. But I feel like Amber doesn't give a single F. And she's like, I don't care. People are, you could, when they played that last bit of audio, and she was talking about, you know, go ahead and tell them that you're a man and you're Johnny Depp and you're, you know, you're going to tell everybody you were a domestic violence victim and see if they believe you. Really, that sealed her fate right there.
I agree. That's
because nobody talks like that if they're, you know, in the right. And she did, you know.
Totally agree, Jen. Totally agree.
And look,
Michelle, do you have discussion or whatever ready for Lilly right now?
Yeah.
Maybe we should go over that real quick. If you don't, is that okay?
You
for
know,
now?
guys don't want to. It's whatever you guys want to do. I'm your guest. I don't know if you
No,
guys
you're
wanted
just
to wait for Theresa or what we were doing. I just
No, I don't want to wait
feeling.
for Theresa. Go ahead and let's get started on Lilly.
Oh wow! All right, Christine. Well, this is
I'm
a
just
side
kidding.
of you I
She
have not
messaged me and
seen
she told me to please start on Lilly.
before. You're all taking charge and shit. Woo, okay. I like
My
it.
following orders. Master says start on Lilly.
Master says, yeah. Let me grab my notes. Okay. So this case is about Lilly Peters. She's 10 years old. She's from Wisconsin. She is a fourth grader. She went to visit her aunt's house, her aunt and uncle's house. She hung out there for a little bit. She decided to go home, and her cousin followed behind her. They're trying to get clarity now on exactly how that kind of unfolded and how he made his way out behind her. Who knows what? Mom said she didn't know. His mother, which is also Lily's aunt, Laurie. So we're waiting on kind of those details now. But so far we have he followed her into the woods. He was walking her home. They took another trail basically, where he led her into the woods. At some point, he must have punched her off of her bike. Originally, they were saying that she got off of her bike and walked with him into the woods. And here we found out that's not what happened. So what we're thinking is that they had stopped right at the opening of the woods. That is where he, I guess, decided to punch her, he says, in the stomach. She fell. He drug her into the woods, and I don't know how to say this. He basically, he put a stick over her neck, attempted to strangle her with the stick. It didn't work. And then he manually strangled her himself and then went on to essay Lilly. Excuse me.
I've heard a lot of people saying, like, why was she walking alone and stuff? But apparently that it wasn't a far distance, and it was a trail that she would travel regularly. And where they found her was in like eye line of, like, I think they said like 5 houses. It was nighttime though, but it was within the eye line of houses.
It was right across from a brewing company, I believe. I was able to see it's one big trail that kind of leads into another little trail. That's kind of how I say it. It's like and her bike was just sitting right there. Let me get this out. There was no Amber Alert sent out for Lilly because they had 2 witnesses, one being a Reddit user, account holder, whatever, who had shared a screenshot that was given to him. And that had already basically had shown Lilly and her cousin walking into that trail. So I know a lot of people were upset that there was no Amber Alert, but that's pretty much.
Unfortunately, doesn't meet the. Sorry, you guys. It doesn't meet the criteria for an Amber Alert.
No.
I'm gonna send Christine the photo of the distance so she can hopefully pop it up on the screen real quick. But it wasn't very far. It was a walk that she had done many times, and I know CDT was in here earlier. CDT does some great deep coverage on this case. So if you guys want more information or want to watch like all the
that's where most of my notes came from, is from Kelly.
If you want to watch like the press conferences and such, she's got all that on her channel. So, please go over there and watch that. But this is her aunt's house. It's her dad's sister. Mm-hmm. And the 14-year-old cousin was going to be walking her home. So even though she was, 10, it wasn't like an unknown, and it wasn't very far. I sent it to the StreamYard chat. Christine, if you want to grab it, because you can see it's really not that far.
Yeah,
but the Reddit user, it was ironic because she very well may have actually led them in the right direction, a direction they didn't know, because they had the search dogs and stuff out the night that Lilly went missing. And I've not been able to, and maybe somebody in chat knows, or Michelle, maybe I cannot for the life of me find out if they had live search dogs or if they had cadaver dogs, because one of the things that caused a lot of controversy was that why did they not find her that night. If they had, they walked that trail or they were over there, why couldn't they find her? And they had the dogs. And I'm wondering if they had live search dogs and it was too late. So.
And what gets me is her bike. I mean, the picture alone of the bike should have indicated something right there. I mean, unless they just totally did not go. I mean, I don't know how they searched, but where her bike was left, it was pretty open. Like if they went to search, her bike was.
Okay, that's a different one. Yeah, okay.
Is that the wrong one? Sorry.
No, that's not the one I sent, but that one's fine too. It just shows more of where she was located. Then they did find her. But I do believe the problem was that they did not have cadaver dogs actually searching for her. They thought that she was lost because it was just a trip from her aunt's house to her house.
And what gets a little scary is he basically, they're having the press conference, and as they're having the I'm sorry guys, give me 1 second.
Yeah, she was found not far from her bike, but it was, I mean, he didn't report her missing till 9. It was very dark. This is she was found off the beaten path. She's not found on the trail, but that's still not the one I sent you. You keep pulling up somebody else's fun stuff. So I can't explain. Did you?
No, because I can't. When I open Facebook and then try to share my screen with it, my computer wigs out. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So there's a lot of history in this family when it comes to this 14-year-old cousin, and his name is really out there in the public now, but I still hate to say it because he's not even currently he's not charged as an adult yet, but I mean, there's a good chance that he will be because he admits to it being premeditated and the fact that he planned on walking her home and harming her and essaying her.
Exactly. He does his version of a confession, and he says that he wanted to break her, and that's kind of where they want to dig into his past and his biological father's past as well.
So his biological father is a registered SA offender.
Yes. And he served 3 years for child pornography, and they had found that he cropped himself into the photos. And they're kind of wondering maybe what had happened to C as he was growing up with him.
Jen, have you watched this case at all? Have you seen any of it unfolding?
No, these kind of cases are really difficult for me. And I've seen, I haven't dug into it, but I've seen the bigger overall theme, like her age, and that it was her cousin, and that he was 14, and that she wasn't, found very far from where she had left from. And, just the bare minimum really is what I've heard about it, because I kind of wanted to click, but then I would stop myself from clicking to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that. One of the things with this is the kid's 14 years old in 8th grade. I'm like, that's my son. My oldest son is about to be 14 in 8th grade.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just cannot imagine the life that this kid has had to this point that brings him to the point that this is his plan. He planned this. It wasn't like an accident, or he thought I'll push her off her bike and see what happens. Kind of a kid mentality, like this, like he thought about this.
Yeah, that's unusual for somebody that age, especially a boy. They're anybody who's been around boys or raised boys knows that boys are significantly more immature than girls are at the same age. Plus, they're incredibly impulsive at that age. And so they don't actually plan things.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He was already charged as an adult Northern Light. I'm sorry, I may have missed that then. once again, I haven't really been on much of the news stuff today, but so they did charge him as an adult. I thought they were trying to.
Yeah.
I knew they got his bond at $1 million, but I didn't know he was actually charged as an adult yet.
Yeah, I don't think he was officially charged.
I thought they were trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, boys, and you're right, Jen. Boys they're significantly less mature, but I'm thinking like this. How is the thought process of what's happening? Because obviously that day is not the first day this kid has thought about something like this.
No. But for a kid to have that thought, you're right. You have to sort of, especially given what his biological father, you really have to, and this is why I'm not a fan of certain types of cases involving juveniles. Automatically they get charged as an adult because there are other factors. There are people in this world that cannot change no matter what, right?
I agree.
But
Right.
at 14 years old with a history, those are cases that, if nothing else, deserve a pause to think about, to make sure that actual justice is being served for everyone. I mean, Lilly deserves justice. There's no doubt about that. He must be punished. But what is the best punishment for him? And how, and I think part of understanding what the best punishment is for him is understanding how it got to this point, so that there can be perhaps an intervention somewhere else in another child's life so that this doesn't happen.
I was kind of curious because Lilly was his cousin through, so it would be C's mother and Lily's father.
Correct.
Who were siblings, and then Lily's father had custody of Lilly. Lilly did not live with her mom.
Correct.
I'm curious and Lilly did spend a lot of time at her aunt and uncle's house. I'm curious if there was some type of maybe.
I believe all of them have drug charges at some point.
Yeah.
And somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm okay with that because I haven't looked it all up myself, but just from what I've seen, I believe almost everybody involved in this situation has some form of previous, drug charges. And aunt's boyfriend, I believe, has a child who passed away from an OD.
Well, John has had 3 children. One son OD'd, one unalived himself, and the other lives with the mother. And that child, I feel horrible for, because now he's getting all types of death threats and things, and he has nothing to do with anything. Had to remove him from school and everything. It was just.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, so KR11 is reporting that he was charged as an adult. Okay, thank you for clarifying that for us. I appreciate it.
Was that today?
I don't know.
Does she know?
I saw that
I don't
too.
know what the drug charges were. Smalls, like I said, this is kind of what I've not looked at them myself, but
They individually all have drug charges.
I'll have something along those lines. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I mean, most likely there'll be some type of, because of the I guess, intent, that it's pretty much a pure right out confession. I don't know how Wisconsin handles that. I know their laws are a little different. They are open record though for that type of stuff. And I dug into a little bit of that today. And his history with his father is just not good. I have a funny feeling that C may have been SA'd himself by his father.
I've questioned that. I think that there's going to be a lot of histrionic stuff that comes out of this case that they're going to. It's going to be really hard to.
Yes, Karen.
Not feel bad for the perpetrator at the same time as you feel bad for the victim.
I know it's hard.
Yeah.
But Wisconsin, they don't have capital punishment. So, and the Supreme Court has ruled, although there are caveats to it, that anybody that juveniles cannot get life without the possibility of parole. It's been deemed cruel and unusual, and they have to be given some.
Were you
sort
reading
of,
my paper I wrote today?
No, I just
That's literally in my paper that I wrote today.
I watched this show on, I think it was A&E, and it was basically about juveniles and getting life without the possibility of parole. And one of them, the youngest one that was going to be considered for life without the possibility of parole was, I think it was here in Florida. I mean, he was 12. And he was accused of killing his brother. Like they were wrestling and it got too rough. But the thing is that the mom didn't go and get the younger brother aid, but she also didn't try to cover up. It's a real messed up story. And they had this kid while they're trying to figure out what to do with him, he's being held in an adult jail.
Yeah.
He's by himself, obviously, in his own cell, and they have to, take special precautions or whatever. But I mean, he's 12. And there's a lot more to that case too. That's why I'm saying, like, it's difficult. You have to take it, I think, case by case.
I agree.
We do. And then you also have the hardship that not every state is actually the same. So the juveniles being charged as a juvenile cannot serve life without parole, but they can serve very long sentences regardless.
Yes.
And if he's charged as an adult, then he can get life without parole, even though he is physically a juvenile.
See, I want to compare the charges and like the possible sentences with this one with Aiden Fucci in Florida.
It's going to be very similar, I bet.
Oh, well, Florida has the death penalty, but Aiden won't get that because he's a kid.
Right.
But it will be very similar because I'm thinking of Chandler Halderson, okay?
Uh-huh.
And his charge was he had 2 counts of first-degree murder, right, for his mom and for his dad. And then there were other lesser included charges, okay? And the judge at the end, even though it was first degree and he was found guilty, the judge had the option of whether or not at some point Chandler Halderson would be eligible for parole. And he said, no, you won't be. Especially since you used the time to address the court as an infomercial. No, you'll be sitting there. But yeah.
What judge
Florida
was that? That's a judge that I really liked.
Yes,
nice
Florida
yeah.
doesn't have a good history when it comes to dealing with juveniles either. There's a boys' camp that you can look up that is horrendous.
I mean, I feel devastated.
What is Theresa doing over there?
I'm looking for a date of a trial, and it went by a stupid ad.
Oh,
TikTok, Theresa.
I have
a whole accent.
So I have it set for from the research I did, it shows November 7th is his trial. I don't know. It could have been moved though.
And did we answer Karen's question? Yes, it was $1 million bail. They
Yes,
asked
it was $1
for
million.
lower, but the judge granted the prosecution for $1 million.
And he's under 2 conditions. He cannot interact with other minors and no weapons. So that was the judge's only conditions.
I'm curious, though, Northern Light, if he's charged an adult, he will face 25 to life with no parole. But Chandler Halderson he was charged, he was an actual adult, and he was charged and convicted of first-degree intentional homicide. Let me just pull up exactly what Chazzle Dazzle's charges were, and the judge could consider parole. So I'm finna Google.
Go Google.
Right. Well, so every state is different. Some if you're convicted of a first degree murder, it's an automatic life without parole.
Right.
If you're convicted of a first degree murder with depending on your aggravating factors, then you may have parole. And then others, it's like a 25 to life.
Bye, Dina.
Let's see.
Night.
Bye, Dina. I'm glad that you found us too. We'll
Yeah,
see you next time.
But I'm only talking about what could happen in Wisconsin. Florida's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
But because the only thing I know, the only thing that's similar is they're both in Wisconsin, and he was convicted of first degree intentional homicide, and his attorneys tried to argue or whatever for not anytime soon, but at least the possibility of parole, and the judge said, no.
Yeah, so he probably would have the possibility of parole too. I think that's it's
Mhm.
25 to life without parole, like
Correct. Yeah.
like Chazzle Dazzle got.
Mm-hmm.
Like there, he could go anywhere in the middle there.
So about like what you guys were saying about things like this develop, they think these thoughts. That's like just like with Aiden Fucci, like he was telling people that he was thinking about this kind of stuff all along. So it'll be interesting to know what comes out about this cousin and like his,
Mm-hmm. History.
mental, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, Smalls. I agree.
I do. I was going to say I agree with Smalls. I think that this is where things have to be really considered, though. When this person's, it's almost too late, and it sucks to say that, but so does this kid just go? Do we just toss him away and say, all right, obviously you were screwed up, and this was your thought process, and now you're done forever,
No.
and lock throw away the key? But I don't know, because I think there needs to be some type of evaluations and criteria that comes into this, and the kid is evaluated to see how they got to where they are, and are they ever going to be able to.
That's what I think, Theresa. I agree with you. I think there should be evaluation done.
Like the parenting situations with like Aiden and then this boy are totally different, because I was under the impression that Aiden Fucci's parents were reasonable. I mean, maybe, the mom,
I think
like,
that
called
they
on
had
him
their
and stuff,
they
but
had their
reasonable.
issues, but I don't think he grew up in a life of crime and abuse like
Right.
this,
Right,
Yeah,
this
exactly.
child probably did.
I think this child went into a little bit more than, I mean, if his father was cropping himself into these photos, I can only imagine what was really playing out inside the home.
I agree.
Imagine
I
how
agree.
Aiden Fucci would have turned out with parents like that.
Yikes.
Whew.
He would have been in prison at like 10.
Yeah.
I know his defense team, one just specializes in juvenile, and the other specializes just in adult court. So.
And see, this is another thing that we could talk about that's kind of interesting to me as well. So, okay, when you're a juvenile, right, and you're charged as an adult, you go to adult court, all right? However, one of the fundamental criteria for being found competent to stand trial is that you understand the process and you understand your charges.
Yeah.
And you're able to aid in your own defense. Okay. I don't know that at 14, like 14 definitely knows right from wrong. Okay. But there's a big difference between knowing right from wrong and understanding the court process, understanding your rights, and being able, that's the thing about kids, is that they can't think long term. So they're making a decision today that will impact them for the rest of their lives. They're not capable of making those types of decisions, which is,
And foundationally,
go ahead. Go ahead.
like foundationally, like these 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds are heading into really formative years of their, adulthood, and so they're going to be doing that in prison with other adult prisoners, and that's going to shape them so dramatically that I think that I agree that they couldn't be rehabilitated after that, just because of the reality of their next years that are going to shape them.
Well, no, because the people who are going to be in their role models essentially are now all convicted criminals who actually know more about crime and how to get away with crime and how to do crime than these kids do. And that's what they're going to end up teaching them. These kids coming out, if they're out on parole, I have the same thought process. They would not be able to be released and be a productive member of society in that environment. But do we put them in that environment is the question.
And that's why children should not be in adult jails. And children
that
should
we should.
be given the chance to be rehabilitated in every way, in my opinion.
I think that we should probably look to countries that do this better than us, and see what they're doing.
We actually have
sure,
some of the worst correctional facility statistics than almost any other country.
We do. We don't have a good record here in the United States because we can't figure out.
It's interesting to think that it's okay. So let's look to a country that does rehabilitate, younger criminals successfully. But those are the countries that probably don't run into this in the first place in any substantial amount. That like this isn't us problem.
You got life without parole. Hold on. I think Dahlia, this is very sad. The kid that killed my fiance Scott was 16. Got life without parole, and he is worse today than then. He's had 26 serious infractions since 1997, and that's in prison.
Wow.
Yeah, that's scary.
Very.
Well, that's the other issue. And see, now we're going to talk about life without parole, only because that's what I did my paper on today. But it's very eye-opening when you realize that these prisoners have nothing to lose.
Nope.
The ones that actually have a possibility of parole are better behaved, easier to manage. Actually, they're the ones who try to better themselves because they know that the chance of being released is still there. Even if they get denied, it deteriorates over time, but they're still not as bad as somebody who walks in the door sentenced to life without parole ever. You're never coming out. There's no way to get out of prison on life without parole except for basically being exonerated of the crime, or a governor or a president like basically saying you're done and squashing it. That's it.
But there are like prison programs that I see that they go to school, they go to college, they raise puppies and stuff, and there's all these other programs that do rehabilitate prisoners, and it seems like they don't get let out. Like the ones that I think that are educating themselves and taking initiative on their education and learning a trade and rehabilitating puppies and stuff, maybe we should give them a chance to more than just the people that get out on parole and then come out and commit more serious crimes.
Betty Jo says, I believe if you want to take someone's life, you should be charged as an adult. He admitted to doing it, so yes, he should be in prison. So then the question is, forever? So at 14, is there enough to support that this person could never be a good person again? I think that's kind of where I struggle, because I just can't imagine if my kid, I don't know, my kid doesn't, of course, I don't think anybody thinks their kid would do that, but I'm just thinking if that was my kid and so here's my struggle with all of this is you have a perpetrator, you have a victim, you have the victims' families who are essentially victims as well. And then you also have perpetrators' families who are essentially victims as well, because they didn't make the choice for their person to do this. And now everybody is punished because of that. And there's never an ending to that punishment for all of these people.
I think that I just lean towards the juveniles, these 14-year-olds, even Aiden Fucci, the kid that shot the school up and stuff. I just think these younger kids should be sent to a juvenile facility that focuses on education.
Yeah. That can possibly,
or a juvenile facility that is meant specifically for juveniles charged as adults.
That's the only thing that would give them a chance at salvaging any of their humanity.
Really
whether we want to let them out or not, we should just focus them on education and skilled crafts and stuff. At Folsom Prison, they make license plates. That. There's things that they can do to contribute to outside society.
If they're next to other children getting help and that type of help, and versus being next to other men that are these hardened criminals. I mean, that's just They have to survive wherever they are. That's number one instinct for kid, adult, whatever. You need to survive, and
We
that'll
shouldn't
be
send
what
them into their formative years in adult prison. You know,
Well,
I don't.
let's think this one out. Let's say you're a judge, all right? Let's say this kid goes all the way through the trial and he's convicted, and he probably will be because there's a confession. Okay?
Right.
The judge at the end of the day is going to be the one who determines what his sentence is going to be. And I'm telling you right now that a judge is going to look at his history and have the exact same back and forth that we're having right now. All right. So let's say, for argument's sake, that this judge decides, all right, this kid needs to be punished, but not for the rest of his life. Okay. So what ends up happening is he will go to a juvenile facility up until he's, whatever Wisconsin does, 18. Okay. But after that, he's for the rest of his sentence, let's say he gets, he's not eligible for parole for like 50 years, putting him at, 65 when he gets out, or even let's make it younger. Let's say he has to do a mandatory of 25 years before they can even think about giving him parole. So what does that make him? What, 39 when he gets out? He's
Right.
been institutionalized. Okay. And let me just say this. I do believe in punishing criminals, all right, but I also understand how the prison system works, okay?
Right.
And that kid that goes in there at 18, and 18 is still a kid, all right? He is going to have to put in work, doing whatever it is that older, stronger, bigger,
Yep.
hardened criminals tell him to do so that he can survive. So he will end up coming out worse. And then if he there's just not, this is a very, these are really difficult questions, and there really are no easy answers, but
I don't think there's a right answer at all.
no, and I think that's why it needs to be individual.
Well, that's because it's like Salty C said. Now, I also have I have an 11-year-old daughter. I'm telling you right now, if somebody did that to my kid, you'd probably see me in cuffs.
Me too.
So I totally see the opposite side of it as well. I don't know. We're not whatever we're doing it right. Does
Right.
that mean that we need to have earlier intervention? Does that mean that there needs to be like both of these kids obviously did not have the most stablest of homes. I don't know if stablest is the right word that I want to use, but there's something lacking there. Look at the parents, Donna. Yeah, that's my point. And so it's like, now this kid is going to be punished for the rest of his life because of his own actions, which I totally get. I totally understand. But where does it stop? Where's the fix at?
Right. Where's
So
the
I think the question about like, well, so who's going to pay for that? So I strongly think that our question should not be who's going to pay to fix these problems we made. Our question should be, why aren't we putting more into preventing these issues like prevention, mental health? And I just think that whatever we're spending right now on keeping bad people in bad places is not correct. We should be spending more to keep people with good potential in good environments, and in the long run the benefit would outweigh the cost of keeping bad people in bad places. Like, the question shouldn't be where's the money going to come from. We should be investing in the future of everybody already.
And Northern Light, this is a very good point. So there were red flags, which is why he doesn't live with his father. But this is the other part of it. If you have dysfunction in the adults that are in charge of and I'm not talking about normal, regular, every family has a certain level of dysfunction. I'm talking about the level of dysfunction where one of the primary parents is a SO. And, that's a different kind of dysfunction.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So so if you think about it, those are not the types of parents that typically will seek out help. Also, the parents that are, and from what I'm reading in the chat and what you guys are saying, is that there's a ton of drug charges in this family. Those are also not people that reach out to government agencies for help for their children. So this one is a very, very, very tough
I feel like
problem.
this is more of our conversation that we had 2 weeks ago or however long.
Yep.
Yes, it is. It
Yep.
is.
We just talked about. Yep. I can't help but to think that because of what could have possibly been done to him by possibly his father, I can't help to think that maybe in some way he saw Lilly as pure. That's why he wanted to break her. I initially thought that maybe Lilly had
Yeah. Or
something.
utilizing these juveniles or these kids, like this kid and Aiden Fucci, and figuring out their thought processes and
Mhm.
what led them down this path. So even if they're if they're not released or rehabilitated, then that information can be used
Yes.
to help other children, or a different evaluation before stuff
Mhm.
like this happens, where there can be some type of break in this generational abuse of children that is causing them to kill each other.
And I understand what you're saying, Northern Light. I agree, but after the crime has been committed, in my opinion, it's all over after something like that. Lock him up and throw away the key. This is, and I respect your opinion. I respect
Totally do.
everybody's opinion. What I'll say for me personally, this is what I am going to choose to do. I'm going to reserve judgment on what his punishment should be until everything comes out.
I agree with that as well. I think
Because
it's hard because he's confessed that he
exactly.
did these things, and he also confessed in the order he did these things. He becomes the person that somebody asked him, like, is he a psychopath? Like, is there a rehabilitation for that?
There
And
is not for that.
So then
So
that begs
yeah.
the question, like, are you born a psychopath? Is it nature versus nurture kind of thing? Is there a way to become a functioning psychopath? Because as we know from studying all of this stuff, there are people who are actually clinically diagnosed psychopaths who've never murdered anybody.
Yeah, they're actually psychopaths are why is that my audio that's echoing like that?
I can't hear an echo.
Okay. So for me, so there are people who are diagnosed as psychopaths. Not all psychopaths murder, just like Theresa said. In fact, some psychopaths are uh, really incredibly good at business. They own companies and stuff like that. And there's, but I think with I think what we need to do as a society, in my opinion, is we need to stop our bloodlust, because taking a life for another life doesn't actually offer the family of the victim closure. And the only reason I know this is because I told you guys I'm always watching documentaries, and HBO did a very good documentary on this, and they followed both sides. They followed the victim's family, and they followed the perpetrator's family, and it came down to the execution. And I'm telling you that each one of the victim's family members said this did nothing for them. They thought that they would feel a sense of relief that this person who who took their loved one from them in such a brutal way was never going to have the opportunity to do that again. And it offered no closure. In fact, it was harder on them, because getting to the execution date, there's 11 billion trial processes and courts and all that. So to say, I just think that there are cases, and Ted Bundy is a perfect example of that, where there are people that are psychopaths, and he started young. I believe when he committed his first murder, now nobody's ever charged him, but it's widely assumed and that he murdered his neighbor. She was 8.
Yes.
That's, but he won't ever talk about that one. But at the same time, there are other situations like, I'll give you an example. Bernadette Prodi from the death of a cheerleader. She's been out for a long time, and she is a law-abiding, contributing member to society. She never got in trouble again. And she was, 15, almost 16, or 16 when she did it? something
believe
like
so.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm. So there, this is why I'm saying I think it should be on a case by case basis.
So with you, Jen Lou. So with you
I
on
think
that.
that in all likelihood, the comment that was just on the screen about if once a
sorry.
crime's committed, lock them and throw away the key and stuff. In all likelihood, let's just be realistic here. In all likelihood, that's probably what's about to happen. And I think that definitely foundationally we can all agree that the system's broken. So,
Mhm.
you know, that's
Yeah,
probably what will
there's definitely
happen.
some
And the
missing
system
pieces,
is
and that's why
broken.
we're in the vicious cycle of repeated offenses that are happening.
Oh, and
but
that's another good case too that Northern Lights talking about is the Stephen and Carrie Steiner case. Because Stephen is the kid that went missing at 8 years old, and he was returned. He found his way home 7 years later. He actually rescued another kid, is what ended up happening. It
That's
happened in
right.
California.
I do remember that.
And they have a whole thing on Hulu about it right now. Y'all should totally check it out because it has a ton of interviews from the family and from Steven Steiner because he's no longer alive. And it's fascinating to hear his perspective on it. And then what then ended up happening and that's the thing, they don't understand why Carrie turned out the way that he did, because he had no red flags growing up other than this big, huge, and it was a tragedy that happened to that family. And then for Stephen to come home and all of that, other than that trauma, right? He didn't have the typical red flags or anything like that you think of. It's just he, did what he did. Ended up being a serial killer. I don't know if he's technically one. What is he? I think there were four people, but three of them were related or knew each other. So I don't.
As long as they weren't killed at the same time, it would be
They
serial.
were. They
Then
were,
that-
though.
that
Yeah. So no, I
unfortunately
don't
doesn't
think he's a
qualify.
mass. I think he's a mass murderer, is what they called him.
I wanted to talk about Wisconsin gal here because she's brought up some great stuff, and she's actually from the area that Lilly went missing, and has made some very important comments in the chat that I wanted to talk about, but I wanted to give her a chance to kind of share some of the stuff. So, one of the things that she had mentioned was that that this wasn't a very secluded area, and there was the Reddit user who actually had seen them walking. That was the one that we were talking about closer to the beginning of this, that they believe is very instrumental in the fact that they went the direction they did with looking for a young boy. She said, I live 5 miles north of where she went missing, drive through there almost every day. See, and that's just heartbreaking. That's just heartbreaking to me. Because now you take something that was a simple drive, and now this is going to be something that you think of, and the whys and the whats and the hows, and it's going to stay with you probably forever.
Forever.
So, but she did say that she actually went to high school with C's dad, and that he was kind of creepy back then too, and that his best friend is also an SL.
Yeah, when these things happen, it devastates the community. I remember when Amber Hagerman happened, and it devastated Arlington.
I can only imagine. I believe her mother was there when they found her for Lilly.
Yeah,
So
I
let's
can't.
move on to Nikki, so that because I have a bunch of things to say about Amber too. Now that Jen's here, I remember. So let's move on to Nikki.
So ultimately, the bottom line is we're gonna have to watch what happens with Lilly and see what unfolds. And I don't know. I don't. It's trying our best as a community, I would say, in our own communities and a community on YouTube or anything like that, that we do what we can to spread the awareness so that people can look for signs in their children, in their friends' children, in their neighbors' children, and stop something like this from occurring.
I know we're a true crime channel, but like we're turning into like this whole like genre of like policy discussion and debate fix.
Yeah, but that's all part of it, right? Because
it is. It all goes together.
It all goes together. Like after I mean, we didn't get to where we are with investigating crimes because people decided, like it was a trial and error kind of thing, you know, like, okay, this works, this doesn't. And then we got more and more sophisticated. And then we moved into, okay, now here's the trial part of it, which didn't always run smoothly. Now it's better, much better, because people talked about it. And now we're getting into the penalty part. That's obviously after the trial. And there does need to be, I think, a broader discussion.
Yeah,
I think
I think it's
you
good
know,
to
I
like
think it's good that we
discuss
talk about this stuff.
common sense, like, you know, putting our little bit out there into like the broader YouTube streets.
Well,
I think
for me, it's like I obviously like the true crime discussion, but then there gets a point where you're seeing some of these same patterns over and over again. Barry Morphew, Larry Maletti, you know, it's literally the same story, copy and pasted into another victim. And then you have Aiden Fucci, and now this, you know, this unfortunate event, and you just see so
I
much
feel like
repetition that I'm like, this is mind-boggling to me that we're continuing to discuss the cases as they're coming, and there's never anything stopping them from coming. Like,
but I think this is
I
how
can't handle it.
this is like how progress is like generally made, because like I honestly feel like we had that conversation 2 weeks ago that was very line with this, but I honestly feel like I've taken another step towards like further understanding where I feel about it, like the whole juvenile rehabilitation prison system. Like every time you talk about it and you gather a new conclusion, like that's, you know, growing ourselves and our ideas, inspiring change, you guys.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Like Wisconsin Gal said, like it brings awareness, and people do care. There's people all over that care. I mean, none of us are in the same location, you know. So that's kind of the thing too that I love about being able to come on YouTube and talk to all of you guys, and the people in chat. It brings this to so many places that you can't do if I'm sitting at the coffee shop talking to my neighbor. You know what I mean? So I do want to talk about the next case, because obviously it's already 7:30, and then we have so much.
Yeah, and I have more than 150 characters to say,
Hidden
and I know
husband.
Jenny does also.
Let's not bring any of that nonsense. Go away. Go away. We have another case that. So this child is actually currently missing, and his name is Nicky Rule, and you may have seen some videos on some other channels, because the grandmother is trying to do her best to get the word out there, you know, anywhere possible to get some help, because this one's kind of hard too, because it's it's a familial issue, and those don't seem to get the same as, like, you know, stranger danger cases, you know what I mean? So but Michelle is going to kind of walk us through a little bit of what happened and where we're at today with this, and this is an ongoing investigation currently.
Yes. So this is for 4-year-old Nicky Rule. For the last 3 years, he's been living with his grandmother, Tally. Tally has taken very, very good care of Nicky and his brother. Completely safe, content home. A few years ago, her daughter, Robin, who is Nicky's mother, she had inherited some money and decided to go live life. I'm going to kind of give you guys just like the smaller version of the story, the shorter version of the story. This is more to get it out there and to just share. And hopefully we can get Tally on this upcoming week to give us the full story. But
right. That's the hope, is I want her to be able to come on and us help her share this out to the world.
The story's important, and so is Nicky. So so basically Nicky was in her care, doing very, very well, along with his little brother. Robin goes away, does life, comes back, leaves, kind of goes off and leaves again. We're not all sure what was going on around that time. And then one day it called her mother and said that she wanted to come home. Her mother told her absolutely. She had came home. In the midst of all of this, Tally's mother passes away, grandma. And right after the funeral and whatnot, her half sibling had come along, and she kind of went through and took the mother's death a lot harder than Tally kind of understood, and had came around the family a little bit more, and, you know, basically just wanted to be a part of the family. And Tally welcomed that because was her half sister. Now they were not kind of raised together. I don't think Tally. I don't think they lived together. So more as time was going on, Aunt Tony was taking more and more interest in Nicky, and look, things just started to get weird. And she would just go off and say little things that started to bother Tally a lot. At some point, her and Tally had gotten into an argument. And at that point, Tony had told her that, I don't understand. You have children of your own. Basically, I guess Tony was looking to have children at one point in her life. Some things had happened. I'll leave that up to Grandma to say. And she had just fixated, after losing her mother, fixated on having this love in her life of a child and fixated on Nicky. So in the midst of this argument, she lets Tally know that she will find Robin, get together with Robin, and they will come back to get Nicky. And on Easter, that's exactly what they did. Neighbors seen as they were pulling up to the residence, they had taken off their license plate. Thankfully, neighbors took pictures. They had, Tally had just run out. She was gone maybe, she said, all of 5-10 minutes. They run through the house. They beat up the paternal grandmother. It's Robin, Aunt Tony, and they're with a friend named Will. He's a 60-year-old gentleman who was also trained by the government to, I'm just going to use Tally's words, he goes into the dark web and does his thing, basically. And they kind of live scam to scam, hotel to hotel, state to state. As they grab Nicky to run out of the house, they drop Nicky on his head on the concrete. They said Nicky barely looked. They pull off with Nicky, and the paternal grandmother, as she's trying to get up after being assaulted, she kind of sees Robin, the mother. Now you have Tony, the aunt, and then you have Robin, the mother, and then this guy, Will, who is with Tony. Grandmother begs Robin, what are you doing? What are you doing? And she tries to get to the vehicle, and they had already taken off. Robin, as a mother, struggles. When Tally had gotten the kids originally, Nicky was completely malnourished. Neither one of the children had ever had milk. They'd only drinking Kool-Aid. The other child suffers greatly now because of a lot of the things that it went through with Robin. So right now, Tally is trying very hard to get custody of these kids. Robin still has custody of her children. They're trying to pull all medical records possible. Tally she's going in front of the judge, hopefully Monday morning, to get the emergency custody. Now, Aunt Tony has multiple warrants out for her arrest for tons of other things. What they're hoping is that Aunt Tony can be stopped, and then they can get Nicky. I'm sorry, guys, give me one second.
Okay, so I have a couple questions. So Tony is Tally's sister?
Her half sister. Her half
Okay.
sister.
Okay, so it's Aunt Tony. It's Robin's aunt.
Right. They're not close. You know, Aunt Tony just kind of came along after Grandma died, and Tally took her into, and so I don't understand their relationship together. Meaning, what are they doing together? They have things in common, but it's not raising that child. That makes sense.
Wait, so he's with his biological mother and his half aunt?
Yes.
Okay.
His half great aunt, I believe.
Oh, great aunt.
It's
Okay.
It's the mother sister. It would be Robin, who is Nicky's mother, and then you have Tally, who is Robin's mother, and Tony is Tally's half sister.
Right. So Tally has raised the kids for the majority of Nicky's life for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But Robin actually has legal custody.
Yes.
Am I wrong?
Oh, that's a Texas thing.
Is it?
Yeah. So That happens, and that happens. You know, look, I love Texas. I'm from Texas. But the thing is that you don't want to, if you can possibly avoid the court system with, as far as the family court system in Texas, that's where you want to, that's what you'd want to do. You want to work it out amicably. And so if it's not an issue and everybody's doing everything they're supposed to do, then you don't want to, it's not because it's corrupt or anything. It's just that Texas finds, most of the time, it has to be really bad, obviously. Most of the time, they fine for the mother. Texas does not like to take children from their biological mothers,
Well, that
especially
makes
if
sense.
their
Yeah, I get
biological
that.
mom. Yeah, they're more in. There are some states, like I thought Georgia would be a state that found in favor of the mother, but they don't. They actually find in favor of the father more. So that's it. So this would be like a grandmother's rights situation where the grandmother is trying to get custody, and it's very difficult and costly. It's not cheap. So they probably had some kind of arrangement worked out between, like a verbal thing between them. You know what I mean? And everything was working fine until some other, sounds like, miscreants entered the picture. It's so sad.
It's hard when you hear Tally tell the story and talk about her daughter. She obviously she just wants her grandson to be okay and back in her care. And you hear her struggle because she's putting that baby first, but at the same time, you can hear the love that she has for her daughter. Her daughter,
Yeah, it would be. I can't imagine being in that situation.
And the way Tally kind of explains it, that the second anyone sees her daughter with her grandchild, they will completely understand why Nicky is not in a safe position. Yeah. And that's why they want to get those medical records over to the judge as soon as they can to show the judge why this is such, an emergency. They need to get this baby.
Well, Northern Light, I mean, the biological mom would have to have abandoned the children, right? But then somebody would have to report that abandonment, right, which would result in criminal charges. And as a mother doing that to your own child, it would be very, very difficult. And so maybe the easiest thing for her mom to do would just be to take care of the children who needed to, you know what I'm saying, rather than try to worry about getting her daughter criminally punished. I don't know. Family situations are difficult.
I agree.
I try real hard not to be judgy in those. Now, don't get me wrong. Later, I'll be judging the hell out of Amber Heard. Just hold tight.
You and me both. You and me both.
Sorry, we needed a little levity, y'all. We needed a little levity.
Because that's my question, though. Is so, like, how serious is law enforcement even taking the fact that Robin has taken Nicky? They're not.
They're not, because the grandmother doesn't have physical custody. So, or not physical, but she doesn't have paper custody. So the way they're looking at it is that the child is with his biological mother, the end. And what will end up this is why, and I understand exactly what Michelle's talking about. What Texas is going to do is they're going to put this out there. The warrant is everywhere unless they leave the state. And I don't know what our warrants are for, because there's there are warrants that aren't extraditable, usually misdemeanors. But they're just going to wait for them to make a mistake and stop them during a traffic stop. And hopefully this will all come to a conclusion, because this technically he's with his mom.
Yes. And they're known to be back and forth between California and Florida.
Oh, well, don't come here. Don't bring your butts here and let me find you.
So this is going to have to be a situation of taking it back to like a Vallow Daybell kind of thing. Somebody calls in a wellness check. Let's find out what's going on with this kid, because they did drop him on his head. Yes. That was witnessed. So now they're going to have to provide the child to law enforcement, so at least law enforcement can see this child is safe, right? And then the next step would be, something along the lines of, if you don't produce the child, then we're going to go to court and take custody of the child. And if you still don't produce the child, then you're going to end up like a Megan Boswell and end up behind bars.
So wait, though, Betty Jo
Betty
is saying
Jo.
that they have been to court, but because of the C word, they keep pushing back the court date. I mean, but okay, who has legal custody of Nicky? Because that's what they're going to look at.
I
So
would say that Robin does, but the problem is that if Robin has a history of unsafe practices and that can be proven, then this is why I'm saying like
that's exactly that's what they'll do. But if she doesn't, then it is an abduction case. But it's, but if she has custody, then they're going to try to do what I said, which is hope they, don't turn their blinker on 500 feet before they make their turn and pull them over.
Right. So I think that these are the kind of questions that I hope that we can get Tally to come on, because I want to hear from her on exactly what's happening, what processes that she's already been able to complete, which ones that she's working on completing or should be working on completing, because this just seems like it's going to end up being one of those long processes of they're going to have to report different things, and it's going to take time before they figure out where this baby is or if he's even okay.
Right.
They do have no luck on the Amber Alert, of course, but the CPS alert has went out everywhere. Is that Betty Jo? Guys, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, yeah. As far as anyone knows, no one does. I'm gonna look up and see what that comment means. Or did you guys ask Betty Jo a question and then she answered you? Because
I did. I asked her who had legal custody. So if there's no paperwork filed, okay, in the state of Texas, then automatically the biological parent has custody of the child, even in a marriage. So let's say two people are married in Texas. Each parent has equal custody over the child as far as Texas goes, right? So if one parent takes off with the child, they don't really consider it abduction because there isn't a formal a custody arrangement or agreement written down and filed with the court system. So that's what complicates these situations, is that Texas is a state that just doesn't like to butt in. And they're gonna if they do butt in, because I think back to when the situation with the FLDS church, they watched those people for a long time building that and buying the land and doing all the building and all the things that they did. But before they even took those kids out of there, they made sure every I was dotted and every T was crossed. They just don't. Texas doesn't typically interfere. They're not negligent. They will interfere, but they want to make sure that all of the paperwork is in order, because if something has happened, they don't want to take the chance that something wasn't signed correctly somewhere and the case falls apart, which would be worse. You know what I mean? Okay, I'll stop. I'll let you guys continue.
No, Jen, we love you.
Oh heck no, I love your insight. You keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is going to be exactly like you said, Theresa. It's going to take some time to sort out everything. Now, the grandmother has options, obviously. It sounds to me like she has some evidence that she's going to present to the court and attempt to get emergency custody, in which that would expedite things tremendously. If she is granted emergency custody, even on a temporary basis, they will attempt to let her know at the last known place, right? But at the end of the day, whatever the judge decides on that day goes into effect immediately, and that's when everything speeds up and changes dramatically. So I hope that that's granted.
Me too. I my heart breaks for Tally. You see, you can hear her struggle. She wants her baby back. She's very, very concerned for Nicky. She's reminded of when Nicky was first given to her to begin with, and she knows her daughter is not capable of taking care of him. And then you have this obsession from Aunt Tony, and it's just, you add all that together, and it's just not.
God. Yeah,
I struggle with my words sometimes with this one because I don't want to, because of the custody situation and whatnot, and what she's trying to do. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I still want to get space out there, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will definitely keep my eyes out in this neck of the woods for sure.
We'll post the rest of his pictures in group and whatnot so you guys can see him. Get his face out.
And hopefully we can get Tally on, and then we can get some more details and maybe get some of the questions that you guys have and we have, and she can tell us, because it seems like obviously she had physical custody if she's had the kid for 3 years, so that's gonna stand in her favor as well. So
It will.
Okay. Any other questions about Nicky that we can discuss now, or anything else that anybody wants to point out between Lilly and Nicky before we get to true crime celebrity style?
Just share, guys, please share. Hit that share button.
All right. Let me get rid of that comment. Okay.
Is it time to talk about Johnny Depp?
It's time to
Oh,
talk
here
about
comes
Johnny Depp.
Christine. Her
Time to
ears
talk
are all
about-
picked.
time to talk about Johnny Depp. So it's been 2 weeks of the case now since we've talked, Jen, about it.
Let's
So much
start
has
with my video.
Let's start with your video. You want me to play
Oh,
it?
and then play mine.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Where's yours
Jenn.
at?
I made
You
one
get-
too. It's on my channel. You want me to
Christine,
send
go
the
get
link?
hers
in
and
the-
I'll play this one.
Okay.
It's in the playlist, babe. If you go in that's how I have it now. So if you look in the playlist for the trial, it'll be right there.
All right.
Okay.
I have them in order from first to the last. You know what I mean? So it'll be at the bottom. You have to scroll. All right. Sorry.
No, you're fine. A lot of you lovely people have commented what a great job I did on this video. And I'll just have to say, as much as I agree with the contents of this video, Christine is the mastermind behind the piece.
You did excellent, Christine. That was an excellent.
I thought you were going to say Theresa. I was like, don't do it, man. Don't do
I
it.
really captured the essence.
You did really capture the essence of, and now I just want to go around giving people high fours all the time. So,
My poor.
yeah.
I keep giggling when he corrects himself to saying just the tip because I'm perpetually 15.
And then she did like this happens, and then I get the clip because I hadn't finished yesterday's testimony yet from the security guards. And I was dead. I was so dead at the conversation that took place on the stand. So hold on, I'm going to show this one, and then you can get the other one ready.
This makes me happy.
Oh, it makes me happy too, Christine. It makes me very happy too.
Okay, I have
Just
Jenn
snack.
ready.
Okay.
I love the little dancing guy at the end, though. Hold on, let me get rid of this.
Move that.
Hold on. Okay.
Okay, is this the right one, right, Jenn? It's like 2 minutes.
No.
No.
It's the best. It's the trial moments. Go scroll all the way to the bottom.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Oh
all right.
yeah. Play this one.
Wait,
Oh,
it's
the
in
opening?
No,
Yeah.
that trial moments. I love
Yeah.
that video.
Okay, yeah, it's at the
Hold on.
bottom.
I'm in the playlist. It's not. I don't see it.
All the way
Yeah,
to the
it is
bottom.
right
Found it.
there.
There it is.
It's not at the bottom, Jen. It's number 9.
I'm sorry, number 9.
Oh my goodness. Technicalities. Make it big.
That's what he said. No,
That's what she
sorry. Is that you?
said.
Love him.
October is 2 months before December. That's correct. Isn't happy hour anytime?
I love him. I do.
Asking me to come back and write pirates. Sorry. So I can read it out of someone's article, but not from the man's mouth.
Marilyn. Munson.
I once gave.
That's from the Dope Show.
So that he would stop talking so much. Yes, sir, that was a lot of marijuana. Looks like it fits in cocaine. Cocaine is, in my experience, normally given in plastic bags. When you put it in a box like that,
This is my favorite part.
chances are very good you'll leave a trail of a long line of cocaine being.
Oh, yeah, it sure looks like it would fit some
This is a
cocaine in that
document you
box.
signed as part of your divorce proceedings, correct?
That's my signature indeed, yes.
Mr. Depp, that is your signature on the right, correct?
Yes, it is.
Neither party has made false accusations for financial gain. Neither party has made false accusations for financial gain. Did I read that right?
You did, Mr.
Take
Robinborn.
that down, Michelle.
I love their whole dynamic.
Mr. Rottenborn. You
And that was a
deserve.
document you signed in August of 2016. Correct?
Is that the same one that I signed 3 times before? Yes,
Yeah.
that's the
Well,
fourth.
I wanted to make clear that you
You've
signed
made it
that.
clear.
A lot of chance to talk and trying to be respectful of the court's time and the jury's time. So I'm going to ask you that question again.
This is so funny to me. He's just like, I want to be respectful, yet I have nothing prepared.
Right.
Nothing is redacted. I don't even know where half my evidence is.
Where's that other text? Surely we have a better text that doesn't show Amber to be a trifling hoe. Come on, y'all.
Objection.
Dun, 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 dun.
That was great.
346 minutes later.
You know, I had to put the most absurd amount of time.
Hi, Molson Man.
Hey, Molson.
I understand when
You would
take 5
agree.
minutes to look for a
You would agree.
document.
You would agree.
Oh.
Except Amber.
Looks like the grandma from Flowers in the Attic.
Yeah,
scary.
it
Is the
does.
grandma from Flowers in the Attic?
Human being that actually dropped a grumpy, pardon the term, onto the bed and saying that it was a dog.
She said, what? She said, what? It was me?
The hat.
Were you there?
That whole look.
Right.
Go ahead, Johnny.
I have other uses for your throat.
Oh, God, this is my
which do not
favorite.
include injury. I have other uses for your throat, which do not.
Look at that
include
face.
injury.
Sorry, did you read that again?
That is my favorite part.
Did I read that right?
You did.
Did I read that right?
You did, sir.
Did I read that right?
Yes, you
Did I read that right? Did I read that right?
did. You did, sir.
I'm done. That was good.
You continue to read them right, Mr. Rottenborn.
Yes.
That was read very well, Mr. Rottenborn.
That was read
If
very,
you
you
know-
read that one very well.
You know what
Well,
he
perhaps
reminds me of is when he's saying that is the agent from the Matrix.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
Oh,
Wilson,
How
not
did
yet.
she,
She's supposed
she
to
really
come
went
next.
and hired an attorney with the name like Rottenborn. I feel like we're like in a Lemony Snicket movie.
I know. Like, it's
Rottenborn.
a joke. I'll tell you, the first time I heard Johnny say it, I was like, did he say his name wrong? And I looked it up.
I did too. I thought he was meaning to say Rothburn, and he was just
Me
calling
too.
him Rottenborn to be a dick. And
Me too. I was kind of appreciative of it, to be honest. But I was like, he's got to be saying that wrong, right? Like, this has been her attorney. He knows who this dude is. Okay. So speaking of these dogs, this is something that I had completely forgotten about until like yesterday or the day before. That she was actually charged for smuggling her dogs in to Australia.
Oh, get out.
Oh, that the guy said he had to snuggle the dogs out or something.
Right. So my husband was kind enough to refresh my memory on this. And I know he wants the credit. So he's coming out here to be like, where's my credit? He was like, somebody got in trouble for smuggling dogs in, because I was listening to the testimony. And then so we look it up, and of course it was her. And she got in trouble for asking her people to lie under oath for her.
oh, imagine that.
Hmm.
So now
They
she's
dropped the
smuggling
charges.
and framing dogs. Well played, Miss Heard. Well played.
Right. These poor damn dogs. Like, did somebody get custody of them?
I hope Johnny did.
Me too.
So,
He had love in his voice when he spoke of them.
so they dropped the charges because she illegally smuggled these dogs into Australia when she was told not to.
Yeah, because they don't want to have nothing to do with her ass either. Just
And
like
then in,
Johnny.
2020 or 2021, I don't know. I'd have to look it up again. They apparently started reinvestigating it because of the lying to the lying to the authorities part of it, where people were coming forward saying that she had requested them to lie for her, like under oath. I don't know if that's going to play anything into this, but her history is that she does ask people to lie for her and lie under oath.
I wonder if she's gonna get like sued by the ACLU and like criminally charged in Australia. And I mean, I wonder what's gonna happen after this.
So there's like 2 bazillion people who signed off on the removing her from Aquaman 2.
Well,
Oh yeah, I wouldn't watch it.
I'm not even sure that Jason Momoa wants to be on it with her.
Yeah, I think that I think that she should be totally banned from Hollywood she is a despicable human. And
Jason Momoa unfollowed her on all the things. Suck it, her.
burn.
Okay, I really like him now, even more than I did before.
Mm-hmm.
But I was pretty
He's like-
disappointed the other day when BR the Star sent me the article that they confirmed that James Franco and Elon Musk weren't going to be testifying. I was kind of sad.
Me too.
Me too, because I wanted that mix of crazy up on the stand. I'm sorry. I don't like. I get that James Franco, like, he's not a good person. I get it. Okay, but I can separate that from also realizing that he has the dirt on Amber Heard, and we need to hear it.
I like James Franco better than Amber Heard.
Mhm.
I like Godzilla better than I like Amber Heard, and he destroys whole ass cities. So there
This
you
is
go.
true. This is true.
But
I
he's
agree.
a protector. He's kind of an anti-hero.
He's an anti-hero. Well, he does play what, like the Green Goblin's kid or whatever in Spider-Man. James
Yes,
Franco.
he does. He does.
So I mean, it's fitting.
It is fitting. It is that he would be with Amber Heard. But listen, social media. Let me just say this. Listen, Amber Heard. You thought that you were going to bring your team of people in, and they were going to start doxing people on the internet, and the internet wasn't going to clap back. Do you know that people have poured through all of her social media and seen and done close-ups on Elon Musk, and he's bruised up too?
Oh, wow.
No way.
Yes,
What?
way. Amber
During
did.
the time they were together.
Yes, they're got their pictures of the two of them together, and then they have it side by side of
Oh, I
them
gotta look. I gotta
together,
see
and
that.
then zoomed in. Also, Amber, just I don't know what you were thinking there, lady, but the internet, as far as situations like this goes, remains undefeated.
Yeah.
Stop playing with these folks out here, especially folks like me. I'll call you out. Dox me, please dox me.
She needs to stop hitting that record button too. She gets her own ass in trouble.
Exactly. You were
I'm so
like,
it's so disappointing that like Elon Musk is such like a what he's so like weak with his women, but at least he admits it. He says like he doesn't feel complete unless he has a woman. Like, he said stuff like that publicly, but it's so disappointing to see him like paying her shit stuff and like
yeah. Well, let me just say this. He gonna be testifying from the Twitters that he owns. I ain't worried.
Yes.
That's where his
I'm an
testimony will
Elon
take place.
Musk fan regardless, but it's just disappointing.
Are
it's
you?
not more.
I don't know. The dude's got like 1,200 kids.
Yeah, but he's supporting all of them, so we can't really shame him.
I still have an issue. Like, what a.
It's true.
Aren't they all boys?
No, he has his newest that he just had in December is a girl.
Well, yeah, they have that piggyback picture, and there's like 90 of them with the little baby on top, and they're all on his back.
Well, the last two kids are named like X and Y.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, I mean, after there's only so many letters of the alphabet, for Pete's sake. You can only go
The
so
other kids
far.
all have normal names. In fairness, it was with his ex, and it was like a set of twins and a set of triplets. So I mean, the 5 of them were kind of 2 pregnancies. So I mean, it's not like he was, the wife was just pumping them all out. But then he's got the younger 2 with his now on and off again girlfriend.
Mhm.
But somebody asked earlier in the chat if Amber was pregnant, and she's not. She actually used a surrogate to have a baby
Yes, she did.
a couple years ago.
Yes, she did.
So we had been talking the other day about that article. We were like, well, what was, because it like came to light that that wasn't the original name, and that the article's title that like we all know is like I spoke out against sexual violence, which was
Right.
weird. But we were like, what's the original title? And I found it. I clipped it from this video. So it was this is the original, or the one that printed was this.
Wait a minute. Is it really?
Yeah,
A transformative moment for women?
There were
Yes.
2 different articles. I mean,
And
they're
this
the
is
same
one that's
article.
still available on the internet.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the version that was posted online, and that's why Johnny Depp was like, "Bro, slow your roll and scroll up a little because I want to make a point." That's why he said that, because there's 2 different versions, and the attorneys for Amber Heard, Mr. Rottenborn, was trying to get him to just focus, and Johnny Depp was like, "I am focused, motherfucker." Trucker, I'm about to do it. I'm about to focus right here on this bullshit Joe Klein is trying to spin.
I mean, that's a radical difference.
Yeah.
And if the Washington Post had been like so concerned that like Johnny Depp would come in after them for this, I think that the one that is online today, which is the opinion Amber Heard one, is way more offensive to Johnny Depp than a transformative moment for women. Nobody would have
But the
even
whole
read that.
thing is that she's saying basically that he kept her captive. So during the whole thing that transpired with the finger situation in Australia, she's trying to say that he held her captive in that house and sexually assaulted her.
Meanwhile, Ben King testifies there was like 87 exits, and he put them all up. They busted out a
Yes.
floor plan of the house, and here he comes with his little finger dot. And I find he's real polite too, because I think he's British. He's like, and if I may I point out another? It's just in this spot over
I just
here,
read it, Yep. Can I just touch on the screen
Let
there?
me just give it another little dab right here. Like, it was priceless, frankly. The audio is what's going to cinch it for the jury. That if they could have played that little audio, Johnny Depp's testimony, and said the end, because she's right there on tape saying nobody's going to believe you, essentially.
Literally, yeah. And then it was priceless. The doctor, the psychologist.
Yes, that's the clips I'm about to have up. Wait till I put together that video.
Amazing. That clip where the attorney is questioning her, and I can't say it verbatim, but she's like, the psychologist is like, well, that's more predominant in women who abuse men because of blah blah blah, and it's not typical of men who abuse women because of the fact that nobody would believe them. And the attorney's questioning after that is so fluid that she doesn't even realize she's actually pro Johnny in her questioning.
Yeah,
that woman
was
is
focused
so
on
aggravating.
the muffins. She just cared. And your husband brought muffins for Amber. Look,
hi
lady.
KW, hi SoCal.
That's not what
How
happened.
dare her?
What she's trying to do is, and what she was attempting to do, and she failed miserably at it. And I hope you're listening to me, because they all call you Elaine, the cat lady. I don't know where the cat lady comes from, but Elaine, let me just tell you this right now, ma'am. Trying to get somebody who has just an hour before testified to all of her credentials, all the schooling, all the training, all the things that she had to do, is not fitting to risk her whole career. And she probably has student loan. Well, not now, probably, now that
I'm sure she's well taken care of at this point.
Now, but at the time when all this was happening, before her ass was hired, I'm pretty sure she wasn't trying to risk her doctorate and her certification to bring Amber Heard some damn muffins, which, by the way, this is another point I like to make about the muffins. Amber Heard is an actress. They don't eat carbs, because and hello, have you seen her outfit in Aquaman? Listen, I only watched Aquaman 1 because I just wanted to.
Are you trying to tell me there's no carbs in wine?
I mean, you got to make a sacrifice.
You don't eat carbs, you just drink them.
Well, listen, you got to pick your battles. So either you're going to be drunk or you're going to eat a muffin. And it seems to me Amber Heard picked her paddle, which was the wines, not the muffins. Know what I'm saying? So no, she didn't tell her husband, I've got Amber Heard in my office. I bet this bitch is whacked out of her gourd. Can you pick us up some muffins? I'm running late. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous.
Have you guys read this actual article? Because
I
read it, and it was immediately so blatantly obvious that Amber Heard did not write it. It is talking about so many things that I'm sure would fly right over her head, and that irritated me right off the bat. But then her attorney gets up there and immediately goes to discredit this woman. Her first line of attack was, I believe, based on her being attractive. She said, what'd she say? So you went to dinner and drinks with Mr. Depp, like making it look like they were on a date.
Right, like they hooked up on Tinder, and by the way, I'm a forensic psychologist. You want me to diagnose your crazy ex? Yeah, no, yeah.
They tried to spin that with her ex-assistant too, her former assistant, saying that he did all that with her and whatnot. He's like, yeah, her
level of education probably exceeds that attorney's, I'm sure, and for her to like go in for that attack, like right off the bat, like the only reason she was there was because she was pretty and probably flirted with Johnny Depp was just so gross to me as far as like equal right for women in like the workplace.
It was just
Like,
the easiest
like
thing to
she
say.
cannot be great at her job and also be attractive. Those are not things that go together.
It was particularly incensing because it came from a woman
Right.
who
Yes.
is in the legal field, and women in all fields have had to scratch and claw their way to be taken seriously. So to see another woman, I don't like to see women on women violence like that. It's not really violence, but you know what I mean. It's exactly.
And like her platform is the validation of women. Like that is, she's speaking on women's voices being heard, like, which is built upon like treating equal, you know, and for her, it was so gross. And what's the word? Sexist or misogynistic, I don't know, whatever the word is, insert it here. But it was just so disgusting. Yes, it made me want to like literally cringe and vomit. I couldn't even watch it. It really turned me off. Out of the whole thing, that was like my pet peeve.
Yeah, that the thing is that when this is how you know that a case is weak, when you have to resort to those types of tactics. For example, bringing in an email from between Johnny Depp and Elton John, where he's talking a little smack about his ex partner. I don't think they are ever like legally married. Vanessa Paradis, right?
Right. They weren't married. Yeah.
That's a low blow. First of all, I don't know a single man on the planet or woman, frankly, who has been in a relationship for any length of time who hasn't said a negative word about their partner, period. That's just life. People talk smack. That's how it goes. He didn't send those to Vanessa, nor did he send most of those texts that they're trying to bring in and blow up and make something out of nothing. No, he didn't send those to Amber either. And here's my thing with all of this. I'm not saying that Johnny Depp is perfect. He's not perfect, but he admitted more than once what his failings are, and he has consistently tried to get help for them. All right. Now, I've heard the audio tapes also. Does Johnny Depp have a temper? Yeah, he does. Is it appropriate to beat up cabinets who never did nothing to you know how? No, it's not.
You don't know what those cabinets did to him.
You know, like it's not. That's not appropriate anger management skills. But there is a huge difference between slamming a cabinet door, slamming a back door, a front door, any door, the car door, and pummeling a human being. First of all, one of them
for God's sake, she wouldn't let him leave. What?
One of them is illegal, and the other one doesn't get your deposit back on your Airbnb. All right, like let's all calm the fuck down about that video. It's not that deep. It's really not. It's not that deep.
It's not that deep.
It's not. I mean, you know, I don't listen. I don't. All I care about, and I can separate the Johnny Depp's good looks from the situation at hand. I am capable of doing that. And
it's
the fact
tough.
it's very tough. But the fact of the matter is this: when situations like this occur with celebrities and accusations are made, you will see inevitably more and more people coming out. Look at, like, let's say, for example, Jeffrey Epstein. All right. There was an outcry made, and slowly but surely more and more women, and well, they were girls then, but women now, came out and said, yes, I was there. This is what happened. This, that, and the third. He's not paying off Winona Ryder. If he was paying off Winona Ryder, he would have got her out of that shoplifting situation.
No kidding.
Okay, like she had to go in front of the judge and God and everybody and be like, "Yo, I'm a shoplifter. What can I say?" You know what I'm saying?
That's your friend though, Jenn, right? Like they got history together. They get each other.
Exactly.
I was happy to see her there.
I look, I would say I think they should get back together, but that's just me. If he can't be with, if I can't have him, I would gladly let Winona have him because I think
I think that I like Kim and Winona together, but she's with somebody else and happy supposedly. So
Oh, is she? I don't remember.
well, supposedly she was not very happy and took up against Johnny when he left Vanessa for Amber because she was like, how do you destroy like your whole family and do that? Because her parents were married for like 50 years.
Wow.
So she doesn't ever want to get married until she finds the person she knows she can spend 50 years with. I'm thinking now it's getting a little late for that, but maybe 10, 15.
Yeah, 50 is a little. Don't. That's.
You know what? I've seen some clips of Vanessa like speaking about Johnny Depp, like when they were married, and it is so sincere. And like even still, they're very respectful of each other. But their like love was like tangible. And I definitely think that like just because it absolved and life happens and you fall out of like big thick love with people, but their love was so real, and comparing that to like Amber Turd is just like, oh my god, like what?
Well, I mean, the thing is that yes, Winona was upset and rightfully so, and she did judge Johnny Depp harshly for breaking up basically his nuclear family, right? But when the other allegations came out, she stood staunchly by his side and said, no, and I've never known Johnny to be a violent person.
Right.
And that I think speaks volumes.
Do you guys think that the picture of him asleep with the ice cream in his lap? I felt, yeah. Do you think she poured that ice cream on him and then put the cup in his hand and then took a picture?
No, this is what I think happened. So I don't know if anybody's ever taken Soma. It's a very, very strong. It is a true muscle relaxer, not like Flexeril or anything like that. This Soma is not to be trifled with. Okay. It's similar. The way Johnny Depp looked in that picture is similar to somebody who is in what people call a Soma coma. It happens with roxycodone too, because it's really strong. And to me, what it looks like is she gave it to him while he was on the nod. There's a difference between falling asleep because you're exhausted and you fall asleep and being taking. Exactly. I think he jerked, and I think she waited because he clearly wasn't, as to put it in his words, participating in the festival of ice cream because his friggin' hand was in his pocket.
Yeah,
his festival of ice cream eating hand was in his pocket at that. So he nodded off. She took the picture and exploited it just like she always does. It's who she is. That's who she is.
And like, why enter that picture? Like, what is this picture supporting besides that you're disgusting and like you exploit people when they're weak? Like, he's obviously not beating you in this picture.
Well, the picture is she had a plan. And she can say all she wants to that I wanted to show Johnny Depp I highly doubt she calls him by his whole ass government name, but I wanted to show him what he looked like when he was in these various states, which would be an excellent argument if not for the fact that his hand was in his pocket and he wasn't participating. That's a very different than, showing that look what you tried to cook last night on Ambien, and you've got a 5-course meal of burnt food. But what she did, that to me was like a setup. And Jeanette, you're right. Oh God, what is her name? Dakota
from 50 Shades.
Yeah, I keep wanting to call her Dakota Fanning, but that's not her last name. She's
Johnson or something.
Johnson.
Dakota
Yeah,
Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, she's Melanie Griffin.
Don Johnson's kid.
That video, it's a longer video, and it's been circulating around TikTok I be on the TikToks a lot. I like
Right.
TikTok.
Well, yeah, where she's
I
looking at his
know.
finger. She's looking at it. You can tell she doesn't believe him.
Yeah.
You can tell, and
But
then,
she's known Johnny Depp basically her whole life.
yes, and then there is a part of that clip, a part of that video where the camera pans out just a little bit, just enough.
The side
You
eye,
can-
yeah.
You can see her watching him, but what you can see from him is he's shaking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then he's like, he kind of covers his face so she can't see his face. Like, oh
Yes.
shit, like I just lied to her, and
Yes.
she's gonna see it.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh no, I totally saw that.
She
Yeah.
like flips her head to like look into when he goes to drop his head. Like it's
Yes.
so. Oh. my God.
And by the PS, Amber Heard, further evidence that your attorneys probably should have shown you that the internet in this situation always remains and still remains undefeated is the fact that the makeup that you claimed you used that was miraculous, and not only did it cover the bruise, nobody saw any swelling, and nobody could even tell that you were wearing makeup.
Yep.
They came out and made a whole ass tickety talk about your ass too, saying,
I
I don't
know.
know
Told me
about,
that.
I don't know what this girl over here is talking about, but all of her incidents happened between 2014 and 2016. This palette didn't come out until December of
I hope they
2017.
ask her for the receipt.
Well, so we had ATS news on Monday talking about Depp, and one of the things we were talking about was I would love to see them actually have her apply makeup to different variations of bruises, because
That
I don't
would-
believe she can cover them.
No,
You can't with that. I'm a makeup artist, and bruises are very, very, very hard to cover. You have to color correct.
You need the right Milani kit then, because that's what she's been using since the beginning of
You
all
wanna be able to
time, even
cover
though
those
way
Um,
before it was even released to the public.
exactly. She's fancy AF.
Mm-mm.
Here's the deal, though. Even at, and I know you're absolutely right, Michelle. Let's say for argument's sake,
I'll be right back, real quick. I'll be right back.
okay, that this palette was the bee's knees and a whole ass miracle. All right, you may be able to get rid of the bruising, but you know what you can't get rid of is swelling.
Right.
And
Yeah.
let's also
Yeah,
also take a moment to realize how old Amber Heard would have been at the time. Not how old she is today, but then. Then she was in her 20s. And I highly doubt she required a ton of makeup. And she probably could go naturally. I believe
could.
when people are talking that they have seen her without makeup,
Mhm.
they have seen you can see a difference in people who, when they're made up for an event, especially. And
Yeah.
then just, you know what I'm saying? And this lawyer spending 87 hours. Well, you don't know what kind of makeup she wears, do you? No, do you?
Right.
Because you introduced a palette that wasn't even invented yet there, ma'am.
They literally started that whole like thing with about how she wore the makeup to cover the bruises at the whatever Tonight Show, whatever show she was on. Like her girlfriend who does professional makeup for Harry Potter was with her, and I was just thinking, yeah, so
Right.
her special effects artist best friend painted some bruises on her, and then she undid that and then painted her makeup for the Tonight Show. Like,
Yeah, it's
So we can work
ridiculous.
miracles, but we can't do some things, and that's one of them. You need paint. You need other
put
colors.
some
a
witchcraft on her
concealer.
face.
Right. Like you have a makeup artist with you. You're walking around. You have all these bruises and bumps and whatnot. Meanwhile, the housekeeper, whoever stayed on the island home, she's like, she was a very natural type girl, meaning like she didn't wear makeup like that. And there is a difference. You have that cakey look when, like Jen said, when you're going to an
Let's
event.
just be real. That Milani palette is at Walgreens and stuff, and like to cover up to that degree, cover up your bruises.
Milani
you would
palette
have
ain't
used-
doing it.
That's not a touch-up palette. You would have had to use
No,
the whole
that's
palette.
that's like for us girls who like, bruh, I stayed up too late on the
didn't get enough sleep last
YouTube.
night.
I got a little bit of baggage under my eyes. Let me bust
I
out
stayed up all night
the
googling murder stuff. Like I'm gonna
Correct.
use this palette.
right. Let me bust out the spoons from the freezer to take down the swelling, and let
Right.
me get my Milani color correcting
Yeah,
palette.
that Milani
Boom.
palette's not covering your sexual.
I'm like, I don't know
assault,
nothing about
sexual
nothing
violence.
half the time, but I do know makeup, and that one right there, there's no way in the world. I don't care what year that thing came out. What she's talking about that she used to cover that up, it would never happen.
No, that's not.
A
It's
for the
not
swelling.
magic makeup.
Right. And B, you would need green and blue to cover. Like it's just.
Well, my thing is too that the doorman, when he was like, man, basically, and I'm not saying verbatim, I'm not on trial, but he was basically like, man, she wanted me to go up to the penthouse because there were 4 scratches, and those were from the dog.
I'm not
Let
about
me
to
hit
sit
my-
here and tell somebody their eyebrows are uneven. Go do your eyelashes.
Or their eyelashes are on wrong.
Dude, that doorman, he was kind of my hero. The fact that he starts like vaping, he's in his car vaping, and then he just drives. He drives off like he's leaving somewhere, yet they're still there because they're with him. I was like, dude, he was so irritated. He was like, I wasn't there that day. Like, leave me alone. You guys have wasted so many months of my life on this crap. I know you sent me all this crap to look through, but I didn't do it.
Right. You
she
got
gets
me
all condescending, like, page 306, that's what we're talking about. Like, hella condescending. And she kept asking him the same fucking question over and over and over. And he's like, yep. Yes.
Okay, so
my favorite part was when he busted out, when he just decided, fuck this shit, I'm out, and drove off without his seatbelt on.
He's
like, I've had
the
enough.
Judge is literally like, well, I've never experienced that before.
Poor
like,
Judge Judy's
that was
face
the
after
first.
that. that's Judge
and there were
Judy
so
that
many good
lost.
ones. His witnesses are so good. They're informative, they're entertaining, and then his reactions are priceless.
He really saved the power punches for like the end, like these the ACLU and like the turn.
Okay, so we got to talk about the ACLU guy.
He came in with a bunch of good witnesses already, but like then he just like throws out the like. Did you see him getting in his car? Like he gets into his car with that song. That what is that song?
Phil Collins. ATS News has it up on her channel too. It's so funny.
Yeah, but it's
that's
perfect.
it.
The perfect
that's
song,
all. That's all.
You want to know who really saved the day? His certified public accountant person who came in and handles all his finances. He read the shit out of Amber's attorneys.
Yeah, and that's the one that he had. Wait, is that the one he objected to himself? I forget.
I don't remember.
Oh, no, he objected to himself during the house manager.
Houseman, Ben King.
Yeah,
the
house manager's testimony. These guys are so flustered.
It was your
so
question.
I look at her face and I think, did they like try to tell her like it's gonna look really bad at first, but don't worry, like we've got it. Like I just cannot imagine how she can come back from everything.
She can't. But think about this. Think about what this really like hit
He's
me
a
in
house
my
manager,
soul.
truth and transparency. He called himself a house manager, not a butler.
Yeah, he's not the butler.
He's
Come
not
on.
the butler.
His attorney, like props to his attorney with his like stone face all the time. Like also is pretty impressive.
The attorney right next to him cracks up laughing
all day. I love her.
You guys
no,
watch
the guy,
clip?
the dude, the weird looking doofus dude. He cracks up
I
all
like
the
him.
time.
I do
I like
too.
him too.
Did you guys see the clip on TikTok of what Johnny Depp was drawing?
Yeah.
No, but I wanted to know. I
wanna
saw
zoom
him
in.
drawing and I wanted to know what it was.
It's a
Me too.
woman. I think it's somebody. It was a woman who was testifying. It looked like
I'm on
the look at the tickety talks. It's on the TikToks.
Go find the tickety talks.
I'm gonna go grab
not
that.
the Google
We're gonna
A's.
look at that.
Not the
sketch.
Google A's. No. We don't need the Google A's for this time. This time we need to employ the tickety talks because they got it.
And yes, and did you guys see when Amber almost got into his car? Dude, they were like, "Oh, that's the wrong car." Like she almost opened the door to his car.
She's like, "Wait, this was mine."
I was like, could you imagine how flippin' awkward that would have been? And it's all being recorded, and she opens the door, and he's just like, "Yes."
She's
like,
leaving.
Can I help you?
She's leaving
like,
in
wrong
like a
ex-husband.
19. She leaves in like Ford Rangers and stuff, and like her cars that she leaves, like her truck or whatever. And he's like every day, like
He's riding in a limousine Escalade, and she's over here in a 1992 Nissan Altima.
She should
she's
probably
arriving
switch the
and
license
stuff in
plates
the poor
herself.
cars.
It'd be funny. Look, Amber, you want to turn the tide. I'll like you like 0.5% more if you roll up to court on Monday in a Honda Civic.
If you drive yourself
Oh, it's
there,
gotta
yeah.
be like lowered though.
Yeah.
Blacked out window.
I need you to roll up in the Honda Civic Johnny Depp talked about putting your corpse in the trunk of. Like, look,
Crap, at this point, like this article, what she's trying to say that he did to her is so bizarre. I can't even imagine, like, when she gets up on the stand, how she's going to try to sell that to a courtroom and a jury.
okay, well, let me say this. If you think about, I've been thinking about this and pondering about this for quite some time because I just, man, okay. Think about what she was diagnosed with having.
Oh, stop. Oh.
Okay, so I have this clip, this Gone Girl comparison video clip. I have not watched it yet, but I do have it in, I think BR the Star sent it to me.
Yeah. But think about what kind of her personality disorder that she has. Amber, look, this is a chick who waltzed into a forensic psychologist's office and thought she was going to pull the wool. She thinks she's got the jury nailed. And this is what's even funnier to me is right when the forensic psychologist was talking about impulse control and reactivity, they pan the camera over and Amber is writing. I think she pressed so dadgum hard on that poor Post-it pad that if you were to rub the pencil on the 50 pages underneath, you'd be able to see what the first page read. You know what I mean?
I saw like the video and they were like saying that like they were doing the captions of what she's writing. Okay, got to remember to say I feel when talking about my feelings.
Yeah.
No, I think they told her, do not make a look, do not run your mouth, every
She
time
failed.
you need to speak, write it down. Just write it down. And that's all she did. Just
Stop trying to cry. She stopped
Yep.
doing that after the first week or so.
Yeah, but here she is frantically, furiously writing, simultaneously mean mugging the whole time.
Yep.
Like you got to work in unison with, come on, Amber, get it together.
Yeah, her whatever team, what would you call it? Her look management? I don't know what the hell it is. Whatever team on her or whatever people on her defense team that are supposed to be in charge of telling her how to look, how to dress, all that, they are failing.
Yeah.
She can't decide whether she's going to be Heidi or a school teacher from 1982. Y'all, I'm not even playing. I'm pretty sure that my third grade teacher had that black shirt that she wore with the tie. That I don't know why they're bringing that shit back. And by the way,
Attire.
and let me just say this, also, Miss Heard, while we're on the subject of things. Listen, Daryl Hannah and Diane Keaton are the only two women that can successfully pull off the Annie Hall look. Not you. You came out looking like, and this is not even my own joke. This is Vincent's missing ear joke, but they nailed it. You look like a Sea Org member.
Yes.
From the Scientologist, the Sea Org.
Oh my God, Jen, that's the first thing that popped into my head too. He has the whole little outfit. Oh God.
And when we were talking about that, the whole Gone Girl thing, I went straight to the Googles and I looked up when Gone Girl was made, and it was definitely before all this happened. So it's 100% possible she got that idea. Because let me say this: when I watched Gone Girl, okay, it takes a lot to get Jen Lou over here to be like, oh. It takes a lot. You got to really do something, okay? But that scene in Gone Girl, that was my like that's not a common theme. You don't often have a scene that way. You know what I'm saying? And so it's rare and it sticks into your brain. So for her to, she's such a weirdo. I'm just done with Amber Heard. And stop blaming innocent dogs. Listen, lady. We all know about spatial relations, okay? And those dogs, that did not come out of either one of those dogs.
Those dogs are tiny. Have you seen them?
Yes.
Yorkies.
Even if they did some sort of jacked up Wonder Twin power activate and simultaneously pooped on the bed yes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Grumpy. Is that what she says when she has to go to the bathroom? Like, I have to go grumpy?
I think it's something that he said. I think Johnny Depp just likes to come off a little bit Twin Peaksy.
I
And
thought it was hilarious. He's
I think it's hilarious.
in my
I
bed.
he had like 3 or 4 different euphemisms for it. And I was like, oh my God, he's killing me.
Are you going to be doing the mornings again next week when she's
Of
on?
course.
Please. Okay.
Of course you think I
I
can
got
sit
so used
idly
to that. I
by?
got so used to it. It's so nice to like turn my computer on, like with my bagel or whatever, like before I start working, and like here's all my people, like to start my day.
Aw.
I love it.
I love it too. I love doing
You know
it
dang
too.
well I'm
I
not
love
even
the
out of
night
bed yet.
people too. I love all the night group, but I also love the
Yeah.
morning group.
Yeah, the morning crew is cool too. Here's the thing though.
Sorry,
I
morning
found,
crew. I can't do it.
well, look, they go to, I do it until they go to lunch, which still is like 9 o'clock your time. So it wouldn't work. But you can join for the
I
night.
already, when you're not
But-
on in the mornings and it's just like long crime, I'm like, I'm not want to give them my view.
Aw, I appreciate it. Well, I
Aw.
don't want to give them my view either. With look, I found that the video deposition, aside from the doorman, they find them pedantic and kind of boring, and it's hard for me to like not be on the nod. I can't focus.
Speaking of those depositions, can we talk about the LAPD?
Yes.
Fine.
No, please
I
tell
was
me. I
telling
missed
my
all of
daughter,
it.
I was like, there's attorneys, there's cops, there's family members. I was like, they have literally everybody up here trashing her.
Well, I just so the big controversy was, do people believe that the LAPD did what they were
Yes, I do.
what their job requires of them to do, and was it enough, or should they have done more? So I wanted to ask you guys that, because that was kind of the
I
big
think so.
topic.
They went twice, like 2 different sets. Went out there to check.
I think that they did, and I'll tell you why. Not just because they went out there twice, but after Nicole Brown Simpson and the 911 tapes came out, it changed the way police forces nationwide handle domestic violence calls. And inevitably, somebody is going to La Pinta, if that happens, to jail. What's different in this situation is the fact that the other person wasn't present. However,
I mean,
California is a place where the state takes over the charges, even if the victim declines to press charges. If they have enough
Yes.
evidence, they will prosecute the case. So the fact that they didn't doesn't. I don't believe that they gave Johnny Depp preferential treatment, nor do I believe that they ignored the cries and pleas for help, or that they were called out there, and then once they got called out there, the complainant or the victim backed off, because they're trained for that. They've seen that happens all the time. Amber, you ain't special. Victims
Absolutely.
often
And
decline to press charges.
I can speak on this very personally because after my husband passed away, I had one terrible relationship and then I just gave up. But in this terrible relationship, it was like an escalating problem, and
Mm-hmm.
the time that the police got called, and I have 2 children, and the police were called, and it wasn't to me. At that time, I was like, this is not a breakup fight. It wasn't really, in my perception, a bad fight. But a neighbors heard us arguing in an apartment complex and called the police. And I mean, the system ended that relationship completely. And I now am very grateful for it. I didn't have like the insight to like see what a problem it was becoming, but I wasn't ready at the time. It was very hard, and it wasn't something I wanted to do, but like to keep custody of my children, I had no choice but to file a restraining order and to go through the steps. And that's what I did. And now, like with, years between me and that situation, I'm grateful for it. But California absolutely does not mess around. It doesn't matter at all. Like I agree with that about the California.
You know what else? I'm sorry that you had to go through that, Christine. Nobody should have to be in toxic and hateful and escalating relationships. I'm sorry about that.
Thank you. I'm
But
glad that the system worked well for me. So I'm grateful.
yeah. And but one of the things that I noticed is, or I was thinking about, is they played some audio of Amber and Johnny Depp, and they're basically discussing all the. This is like their I think it's one of their last times they were in physically together, and she's explaining to him that she didn't want to call the police or do any of this. It was the lawyers. It was the lawyers. It was the lawyers, right? And I'm thinking to myself, because I try really, I want to err on the side of caution in these cases. I don't ever want to victim blame or victim shame. And I don't, nobody knows how even though people say, well, there's some reactions, are a given. Yeah, but that's true. There can be, but not everybody reacts the same in every situation. So I'm confused if everything that she's alleging is true. Why is she explaining it to him in the way that she is?
Very good point.
That's a great point.
You normally don't go back to your.
This has really started. Sorry, go ahead, Michelle.
No. I was just saying you don't normally go back to your abuser and explain what he did to you. You're typically too afraid.
Right. Oh yeah, that's so yucky. But this is really just like beyond the scope of her platform and women's. This is really like, I hope they will expound on believing men because of this. Like this should be a thing that we do more often, because like Amber said, nobody's going to believe you because you're a man. I think that's pretty much how it goes. And I hope that changes.
It needs to change. It needs to change. I think the two of them together were like fire and gasoline.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that, and this is the other thing I'm annoyed about too. Amber, I don't think that you should be on your janky ass high horse trying to talk about Johnny Depp needing rehab when you had a wedding schedule that literally had the terms dinner, dancing, and drugs in them. I'm not shaming you for for taking drugs. Okay. I'm not. That's my name's Paul, and that's between y'all. But what I am shaming you for is the fact that you're out here judging and acting like you need to get him help. And the only way that he could get away from you to friggin' detox, for Pete's sake, is to get you and your freaking pals a bungalow at the fucking Beverly Hills Hotel.
Yeah, to get you away from him.
Right.
Didn't
Exactly.
she, like, invite her? Like, didn't she shove herself in that? Like, wasn't his sister originally supposed to be?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think that he detox, watching somebody detox is incredibly difficult, particularly if you're that person's loved one, and even harder probably if you're their spouse, which is why
she wanted to watch him suffer.
Of course she did, because she's a psycho hose beast.
Right. I just want to say night to Molson Man. He's probably already gone, but I would thank you so much for coming. And as soon as we're done here and I'm settled in for the night, I will also be finishing off some Ozark. So just wanted to say that.
She's a psycho host beast. And I normally would not be this. I mean, well, I don't want to say normally wouldn't be this judgy. I'm pretty freaking judgy, let's be honest. But I try very carefully not to. I err on the side of caution when it comes to victims. And in this situation, based on nothing more than what's been shown in court, at this point, I don't know what bag of tricks they got over there at that defense table, but I hope it's better than some purple Post-it notes and some audio recordings where Amber Heard looks like a dick. I mean, that's just the truth. She looks like a
all of her own flipping recordings make her seem like a psycho.
Mm-hmm.
And if they actually were able to play them in their entirety, which I wish they could, because it actually contains some very good information that this jury is not going to get to hear. But there's just no coming back for her, in my opinion, from that. Like
well, it's contained the other people that were there, like yelling at her to knock it off.
They're longer.
They're like long clips, but it also has, because once again, here she is secretly recording things, and she records herself admitting that she actually cut off his finger. And but there's other people that she's talking to because Johnny has already been removed from the situation, and so there's other people she's talking to, and then there's conversation that's heard between like the doctor and the nurse, like Nurse Debbie and Dr. what's his name? I don't know. I can't remember his name all of a sudden.
Kipper.
Yeah.
Kipper,
like it
the
just blinked on me for a
dog.
second.
You got to remember
Yeah.
that cartoon. Would you
Right, I
like
don't know,
a
it was just
like a dog, like
They
Kipper?
they're talking to each other about basically sedating her because she's so crazy. And you can hear Dr. Kipper says in one of the clips, he's like, I don't know how anybody deals with that. Like that's what he's telling Nurse Debbie. Like, I can't, like, and then basically to give her sedatives and to give her antipsychotic medication that she takes normally.
Oh, yikes on bikes.
And when this turns into to roasts on your channel, please invite me.
I love it. You gotta make sure we have. You gotta make sure they're
involved in one.
So I just sent Christine. I sent you a couple clips if you wouldn't mind in the StreamYard chat. That I wanted to play don't play the last one first. Play the second to last one first if you could. This is a lovely sub sent this to me. We were talking about it the last time we were talking about Johnny Depp, and there's a video of Amber Heard, which is her driving I think it's a Mustang that remember she drove herself to Coachella, but then the drivers and the security went like in another car, and she went with like her sister and one of her friends. So they have a video of her driving. So this is supposedly the night after, or this would be the morning after he supposedly threw the cell phone, hit her in the face. They call the cops, all this stuff. She poops in the bed, all this. So it's her own video. I mean, it's her friend that's videotaping, but you can see her clearly. And I wanted to be able to play that.
That's a good one too.
And then before we hop off, we have to play my favorite clip of this entire trial. If you guys don't know what it is, I don't know what to tell you because it's going to happen and you'll find out.
I don't know how she's going to come out from around this. I really don't. I don't think and this is the other thing. I don't think that the way that the lawyers are behaving in court towards witnesses is helping things either for the jury. We've got to mute that or she's going to get a strike.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'll be fine.
Okay. Well, it won't be a strike. It'll just be
it'll be a copyright claim. Hi,
Yeah.
Tiff.
Here she goes.
You can see her face right there in that very first shot. You can see her face, and I'll put that up in the group too, so that you guys can actually take a look at it. There's nothing on her face.
No, and there are pictures from her.
Oh, that's from media. That. Oh,
yes.
Sorry.
Yeah,
that would be when she supposedly has the red mark on her face. Yeah, when she goes to Coachella. There's nothing there, and I'm sorry, she's not covered in makeup. I don't care what, like, she doesn't have like makeup on from like an event or anything like that. Like they try to say, like, oh,
she had a photo shoot or something.
Yeah, no, this is her going to Coachella and getting hammered.
And then afterwards, after she was really sick, his security guard had said, and then she would try to put it on her pregnant sister. Am I getting that?
Oh yeah, no, they tried to say that her defense team was like, that basically that the security guy saw Whitney throwing up, and did he know that she was pregnant? She wasn't actually drinking at that time. Can you show the picture I sent you first before we show that? Because I want to kind of end with that before we hop on.
Yeah. Well, then I have to reload this up again.
Just put it back in. Oh, sorry. Okay, whatever.
Tip magic mushrooms.
But what was I saying?
About the sister.
Oh yeah, that the sister was throwing up and that she was the one that was sick. And the guy's like, yeah, no, like, no, she was the one that was sick. She's the one that I had to drive back. She's the one that I had to take care of. Like Amber Heard, not Whitney. Like I know the difference between the two.
He was very specific and very detailed. I mean, you seen Johnny look over at him and he just like, it was instant. Yeah, all about it.
What what else I like too, while Christine's looking for that, or going to pull up that clip, is the whole premise in their opening statement on Amber Heard's side was that essentially every witness that is going to testify on Johnny Depp's behalf is bought and paid for. They're all his friends, or they are employed by him in some capacity. However, the doorman at the penthouse is not.
Yep.
He's just a regular guy, and you can tell because he got flustered and drove off without wearing his seatbelt because he was done.
He was irritated even having to be there.
Yeah, and they've drugged this. I mean, yeah.
But some of these people don't work for him anymore.
No.
They may have worked for him at one point or another, but I'm sorry, like I don't know how the people that he's surrounded by are either people he works with or they are his friends. So you're what do you want to get? The issue is she going to be able to put anybody on the stand that is an ex-employee who's going to take her side, or is there an ex-friend that's going to take her side? Because as of right now, they all just seem like they're loyal to him, but these people have been with him for 20, 30 years and they haven't quit. Her freaking assistant quit because she spat in her face.
She makes people at West. She made what's his name? Son cry. What is his name?
Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany. Yeah. Like, it's just not looking good for you, Amber Heard. And please stop with the Heidi/Sea Org outfits every day.
Oh God, I know.
It's not a good
that
look.
Christine just had up is the one that they say you can actually see the bruises on Johnny's face.
You can.
Yep.
So I'll put that up in the group too. Yeah. So
look at that.
Yeah, which is on our right side, which would technically be his left side. Oh, look at her being able to do all kinds of fancy stuff. Look at that. Oh yeah, there you
Keep
go.
her eyes open. Look at that. Oh.
Yeah, poor Johnny.
My favorite part of everything they've shown on TikTok thus far has been they replay that clip of Johnny Depp's sister saying that Amber called him a fat old man. And then they play it's followed by every single hot picture ever taken of Johnny Depp.
I'm like, I don't care if that's a fat old man, then whatever. I'm good. And I guess I like me some fat old men.
Me too. I like fat old men who sit around and play guitars. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll take it. Yeah.
Also, Johnny Depp, I know I fit a lot of your criteria. Number one, I'm literate. I can read. I also like Van Morrison.
What are you doing to it now? Like, she's gonna start showing us how she does fancy stuff in here.
No, I just want to see his face. Look at that, so sad.
He looks sad.
Yeah.
Like, look at how happy the guy is on the other side of Amber. She looks flippin' hammered.
Yeah, she's.
And then he's just like, I'm here for the picture. Thanks, everybody.
Get this crazy bitch away from me. 24 hours.
What the hell am I doing?
I'm about to break up with your ass.
His poor eyes. He looks beat up right there.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Oh, yeah, Smalls, isn't it? That's a good point. The parallels between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp and his and Johnny Depp and Angelique in Dark Shadows. So I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I don't think I have.
You have to watch it. It's a good movie.
Okay. I'll have to take a look.
I'm grabbing the clip real quick.
Okay, grab the clip because then we'll wrap it up. Because like I said, this is my favorite clip. I could sit here all day and talk about every single witness that's been on the stand and how great I feel like they've done. But this is still by far my favorite.
Okay.
I don't know if there's going to be anything that's going to happen that's going to top this one.
We haven't seen Crazy Pants Amber Heard on the stand yet.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see.
Oh God, I can't wait.
Something happen with that. But this is my ultimate. I can't deal with this one. It makes me laugh too much. And then I gotta hop off and do children
Mr.
things.
Depp was trying to urinate in the bucket, wasn't he?
Oh God.
No.
Mr. Depp had his penis out of his
Objection.
pants, didn't he?
I think I would remember.
Relevance.
Mr. Depp's penis.
I'll allow it. Next question.
And you were trying to get Mr. Depp out of the house, correct?
Correct. I was trying to get Mr. Depp out of the house, yes.
And Mr. Depp was refusing to leave the house, was he not?
Not so much refused. He just wanted 2 minutes to see his piece.
You took Mr. Depp's arm to try to move him out, but he broke away. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know
So
how
he
long
was
this
strong
one
enough
is.
to break away from your grip, correct?
He's all, no.
So you had his arm and he broke away, though, correct?
No,
Isn't that what you just said?
No.
no, I let him go.
You let go. Yes, but he wasn't.
The beginning of that, dude, I cannot handle it. He's like, I think I would know if I had seen Johnny.
We'd all remember.
I think we'd all remember that. And
like, no.
you've got the guy, he sounds like he's like, if you're not watching, you're only listening, it's like Braveheart testifying about seeing Johnny Depp's pee-pee, whether he saw it or not. I just
I love
know.
how many people have commented on his generosity also. Like,
Yes.
he's giving me a lot more than that, mate.
Yeah.
It's like he's giving you gifts. He's all, I've given Johnny gifts. Like he was offended. He was like, I've given Johnny gifts.
Yeah,
He goes, he gave you a gift of $8,500. He's all, $8,500? He's giving me way more than that. And Johnny's like, yeah, well,
that sounds
true.
like that.
What are you gonna do?
Ask Amber Heard.
So, but the I think it was the finance guy that was up there, and Rottenborn was like being a complete prick to him.
Yeah,
you could see that Johnny was getting like mad.
Yep.
Like that was probably the most I've actually seen him get upset. But he was like, "Why are you like beating up on this old man? Like you're being so disrespectful and rude." And I don't know any attorney who finds that to be a positive in the eyes of a jury. People don't like that.
No, they don't. It might make for interesting internet, but it does not play well for a jury at all. But hey, I want you guys to notice something. Go back and watch from the beginning when Johnny Depp is sitting next to his attorney. They're getting closer and closer. This time he's leaning over. He fixed her charger cord.
She was hired to make him happy through this freaking trial. I'm telling you right now. That's
was
why
it Missy that said that? Missy was like, it would be a really smart move if they sat pretty close to it, like if Amber's on the stand.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Think about that strategically. She will lose her little
mind.
He's so considerate. Like he seems like just such a gentleman. Like
he spilled his coffee on the stand a little bit before testimony started, and he cleaned it up.
Yeah.
He offered his attorney a piece of candy.
He's been drawing fantastic fucking pictures. Meanwhile, Amber's over here scribbling out God knows what. I'm sure it's just hieroglyphics at this point.
Do you know what? Johnny Depp,
he said bless you to somebody who sneezed.
If they were leaving the courthouse at the same time, he would open the door for Amber Heard still. Like he seems like just a gentleman.
Yeah, like he's not perfect, obviously. He's a flaw. None of us are. We're all flawed individuals. But that's not the point of this trial. The point of this trial is is that piece in the op-ed accurate? And by the way, it's too late for you guys now, Mr. Rottenborn and company, Elaine. Maybe stop pointing out 87 times the 2 years. You don't want people to start doing the maths on that. Because if she talks about 2 years ago, unless she was hoeing around someplace else, she was with Johnny Depp. So you probably shouldn't be repeating that and reiterating that and reinforcing that to the jury. Dum-dum. Now, where's my $250 an hour? I want $500 an hour for that.
Right. I was just going to say, they should just call for advice because they really don't, they aren't getting a clue here. So, and maybe there's a very tiny little tiny chance that when this is said and done, maybe somebody will believe her, but I probably won't be one of them.
I can tell you right now, it's probably not going to be me either.
I think this is a curtain call for this one.
I think there's like some news organizations that have been like, why people are believing Johnny Depp and like trying to like paint it kind of like we're unreasonable for not believing her still, but it's like, okay,
I don't believe
CNN,
her.
Shut up, CNN.
Her story changed multiple times, but the problem is she recorded herself admitting to what she's done.
For me, that nailed her. I'm sorry.
That's it.
Yep.
She doesn't record him doing anything except for harming himself, talking about how he's sick of himself because of how she makes him feel and all the things she's done to him.
He did call her a fat ass, which made me laugh.
He called her borderline personality too, but then you come around and then she's diagnosed borderline personality. I was like, eh. You know, I don't like that. I think we talked about this too. I don't like that he called her the C word.
No.
But
I mean,
in context of the fact that he calls all of his friends that too,
right,
it's like,
right. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think when
I
you're
don't
with
care
someone,
about their private arguments. Like
I don't either.
Whatever.
And I think that it's weird that she recorded all of them.
yeah.
I say things in my private arguments. Well, you know, not anymore because I'm single and I love it. But I used to say things I'm sure that I'd be embarrassed of.
Oh,
like,
I got a slick mouth.
Nobody's business.
God, yeah.
No, but you don't set up the situation to record it. You cannot
No,
say
I'm not a snitch. Of course I
You know,
wouldn't do
Hell
that.
no.
like you can't say the man beat you up and then 2 days later you're in a very close,
Driving his car to
come
Coachella.
on, right, and you're recording him after you trigger all the shit, like you're questioning him up and down. You see he's completely trashed. Like, come on, that was just so set up to me, and that showed more of her than it ever could him for me.
Oh, speaking of, Allie79 sent me a picture of that specific video, and it's 12:30 in the afternoon. It's not 8 a.m. in the morning. He didn't skip a cup of Joe in favor of a mega pint of wine.
Right,
No, she had just woken up.
Yes, but they're trying to say that they continue to. It's his attorneys or her attorneys that say, you know, that morning. Well, last I checked, noon ain't morning.
Well, it's her morning because she just woke up.
Correct. But the attorney is saying that he's doing it first thing in the morning when the clock is in the damn video.
How about his response to it? He's like, "Isn't cocktail hour or cocktail time
Isn't happy hour anytime?"
It is. If you're happy and it's an hour, it's happy hour.
His
Look,
whole way was great.
yeah, like they try to elicit an emotional response out of him that was more anger or trying to, you know what I'm saying? And he
Reading all those article titles, like he's like, "Who's Amber Bischoff?" or whatever. Like, how would this person know?
Exactly. But it didn't get the reaction, no matter how much Rottenborn poked at him. Did it get him to be angry? All he did was crack jokes.
It did the opposite, and it made everyone love him that much more.
Exactly. Amber, you got an uphill battle on this one. And the thing is that the reason why nobody is believing Amber at this point anyway, for me, if she came, they haven't presented their side yet. And I am open to the possibility that maybe there is proof that exists. But what's been played and shown thus far ain't that. And especially the stuff that's been played by her side. Yeah. If what they've shown so far from their side is indicative of their proof,
to bring out.
you listen, you host.
Just by the former assistant of hers already there, it for me, it speaks volumes of what she doesn't have.
Exactly.
Everybody get your editing apps paid this week so we can be ready for next week.
Amen.
Let's get ready.
Because you know they're going to be good.
Yep. I will be in Jenn's chat this week for sure.
Thank you. I love having you girls. You know I do.
All right, you guys. I gotta wrap it up. But man, I love having
this is
Jenn
my
move
favorite
on.
hours of the week.
Oh, thank you.
It is.
I love
Really,
being here. I love all you. You know, I love hanging out with you girls. Come
I
on.
love hanging out with
Sorry
you
we
too.
didn't do it on your channel. I was totally open either way, but
Oh, I didn't know. I wasn't given the skinny, so I was just like, "Hey, you want to come on Friday? Like, hey, I'm good. Come whenever you want to." We could also do it. We could do the next one on hers. This ain't over.
I'm flexible.
Amber Heard hasn't sang yet.
Oh God, no. No, and I can't wait to see who they bring out as a witness for her.
Yes.
Because you know that's gonna be gold too.
Yep.
IO's coming on.
who?
IO, the one that that stayed in the, I guess, like the pool house or some part of the property to do their writing, and IO is the one that is made the actual 911 call.
Oh,
right.
Well,
apparently there was 2 people that made a 911 call. Right?
I thought it was just Io, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, the way that I interpreted it was that the second cops showed up because of another 911 call, like of a secondary
I
same
see.
situation, but I don't know, maybe I interpreted it incorrectly. Hey dog, stop chewing up the dog bed, dummy.
I don't know, but I'm ready for the roast. I'm
Me
super
too.
ready.
Oh, they're already writing themselves in my head.
Oh, I know they are. I know they are.
I'm here for it. I'm here.
Oh, maybe Rocky. Rocky might come. Oh, the makeup chick. What's her name?
Isn't that the one that got dismissed from the whole entire courtroom? I don't
Get
think she
in.
can come back.
No. That was
Oh.
Eva something or other. Yeah, no.
Mhm.
Oh no, we need that girl to testify.
I feel like her last name is Velasquez or something like that, or Melendez or something. That's the makeup artist. I can't remember now.
I'll find
All
it.
right. Okay, guys.
All right. Good night,
night.
everybody. Thank you for having me.
Good night. We love you, Jen Lou.
Love you guys
I love you
too.
guys. Thank you guys so
Good
much.
night,
Thank you
guys.
so much, chat.
All right.
Hopefully we can get Tally, Nikki's grandma, to come on, and we'll have another live this week.
We will have an update, promise.
We'll have an update for you guys.
can't wait.
And then of course, Johnny Depp trial starting again on Monday. We'll be there for it. Well, not there, but we'll be
Head
here.
on over to Jen Lou's channel.
Yeah, if you want to watch all the court proceedings with some good commentary and not dogs barking, go to Jen Lou's channel.
Thank you guys.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, guys. Love you.
Good night.